Hello my mellow fellows, or shall I say my blue-collared baddies. Welcome to the final part of my Teddy miniseries. If you haven't seen the first two videos I made about Teddy, I absolutely would advise you to check those out. Especially part 2, because this video is a direct continuation of part 2. Or don't if you're feeling dangerous or if you already watched it. You can do what you want, I'm not going to beat you up over it. I know how some of y'all like to live dangerously, but I am going to be making a lot of references to part 2 and part 1. Especially because I recorded this video at the same time that I recorded part 2, so they kind of bleed together. This final part of the Teddy miniseries will be about Teddy and his relationship to the Belchers. I thought that this would be a fitting conclusion to the Teddy miniseries. That is until I find more reasons to make videos about Teddy. Anyway, sit back and relax as we continue down the Teddy brick road and come to the end of our little journey. Teddy is a regular at Bob's Burgers. He's so regular that he eats there almost every day for lunch.
Teddy, why did you ask for a to-go bag if you're gonna eat it here?
I'm leaving.
The only time he doesn't stop by is when he's busy with work. So he makes sure to call in and let them know he won't be there. Bob usually doesn't care if he comes in or not, but to Teddy it's the end of the world when he can't make it in. Teddy is always there, so usually he's the first one to try new things at the restaurant. He usually tries the burger of the day, even if he doesn't always like it.
Bobby, make me one of those. But hold the egg. That sounds gross. And the time. Do you know what? Just do the tomato one.
He was the first one to try the ice cream machine. Sure, it was melted, but he enjoyed it.
Oh, no, I wouldn't eat that.
Just give it to me.
It's not ready
yet. Give it to me. Oh, it's too cold.
Just
I can't
eat
eat
it as is.
I can't eat this.
Oh my God.
Just warm it up for me.
Teddy, you're killing
Come
me.
on,
Give me
take
the
a
ice cream.
second.
Give it to me.
Bob tried to make him the first customer to try his espresso, but he didn't want to.
I'm declining politely.
Just take one shot, Teddy.
I don't like those tiny cups.
Just drink one.
They make it look like I have giant hands.
Come on.
Leave me alone.
Ugh, fine.
Really? You're gonna give up that easy?
And we all remember when he ate that sponge.
No. What was that? Don't feed a guy a sponge, Bobby. Don't feed a guy a sponge.
You put it in your mouth, Teddy.
There was also a time where he accidentally ate horse meat.
Horse?
Oh my God!
Don't feed a guy a horse, Bobby.
And then he loved it so much he wanted more of it.
Teddy, we don't sell horse anymore.
Oh, come on. I can't stop thinking about it. I loved it.
I remember a time where he kept drinking the coffee Bob accidentally filled with ketchup, even though it was disgusting.
That is gross. Ugh. Ugh. Wait, let me try it again. Oh, no. Why'd I do that? Ugh. Unless... No.
Teddy, stop.
Teddy will try almost anything Bob makes or whatever is in Bob's restaurant, I guess. He has an emotional attachment to Bob's food.
I'm too sad to eat. Maybe I'll have a burger. Actually, could I get two?
Like I mentioned earlier, his usual order is burgers, fries, and coffee, but a lot of the times he would get the burger of the day. In fact, Teddy is very adamant about there being a burger of the day. In one episode, Bob decided not to do one for a week, and Teddy flipped out.
This is crazy. You're crazy. You do burgers of the day every day.
Teddy.
A new burger every day. It's the only constant in my life.
Teddy is honestly kind of addicted to Bob's Burgers to a healthy degree. There's an episode where the fryer was broken, which meant no fries. At first, he was calmly disappointed by it.
We all gotta make sacrifices. Like the taste of those crispy fries in my mouth, absorbing my sadness.
Teddy.
Nope, you're right. Tina's going to horse camp. That's great. She's a good kid. I hope she's having a real good time, Bob.
Then it escalated to more.
Did you bring Jimmy Pesto's fries into my restaurant?
You did this. Fix your damn fryer, Bob.
You want it fixed, Teddy? Fix it yourself, huh? Handyman?
I will fix it.
And more.
Teddy, it sounds like you're just shaking it.
I got my own process, Bob.
Teddy eats there so much that his doctor was worried about his health. He eats a burger pretty much every day. It's not good for his heart. But we'll talk about the episode later in the Bob section. The only time he didn't like Bob's Burgers was after a critic gave Bob a bad review.
Just tastes a little overdone and dry or something.
Overdone and dry, Teddy? You're just quoting the review.
No, I know. It's just now I have words to put to my tastes.
But for the most part, he loves Bob's Burgers. Maybe a touch too much.
We're hungry, Bobby. Open up.
I can't, Teddy. Tommy closed us down. If I serve you, I could go to jail.
We're willing to take that chance.
The point is, Teddy is a very loyal and overly attached customer to their restaurant. He views their place as a safe place where nothing changes too much. And when things do change too much, we get meltdown Teddy. Teddy is a very loyal customer, but Bob's Burgers isn't the only burger place he eats. He follows a burger blog and likes to try different burgers around town secretly.
I swear I've never done this kind of thing before. Okay, a few times at a few restaurants on numerous occasions, but those meant nothing to me.
And then you walk back into our place smelling like guilt and other people's buns.
Oh, God.
Teddy didn't want Bob to know because he thought it was a betrayal to him and his establishment.
Oh, God. I betrayed you. I betrayed us with the burger.
So it's safe to say that he's the #1 customer of Bob's Burgers. He doesn't just come for the food, he also goes there for the company of the Belchers. Teddy starts off as a regular customer at Bob's Burgers, but by season 3, he's not only obsessed with the restaurant, but he's obsessed with the Belchers. Teddy doesn't just like the Belchers, he wants to be a part of the family. He starts off as a very loyal customer, but he starts making strong efforts to be more than just a customer. Teddy sees himself as a close family friend and borderline family. Keyword, himself. In the early seasons, the Belchers view him as a friend and a customer, especially Bob, who wanted to keep that professional distance between them. He was customer zoned, but Teddy pushed, and slowly throughout the show, he inched his way out of that box. He started inviting Bob over to his place. He started to get more involved in their personal lives. He started to get involved in the kids' projects. And as I said earlier, he started helping promoting Bob's Burgers as a business. The more he involved himself, the more enmeshed he became in their lives.
My baby!
Oh, our baby!
We had to do it. It was the only way.
Teddy treats the Belchers like a pseudo-family for many reasons. His actual family doesn't live nearby, and because he doesn't have a nuclear family of his own, he uses the Belchers as a substitute. In the early seasons, Teddy was very lonely and desperate for human connection.
Tell them that I go to church because they hold hands during the Our Father, and it's the only physical contact I get all week.
He's seeking to recreate a family environment and uses the Belchers to fill that void he has within himself. You also have to remember that Teddy met them at one of his lowest points in his life. He was freshly divorced, single, and depressed. He was phoning in work at the time because he was sad and alone. And like guardian angels, the Belchers moved in. Teddy installed their booths rather poorly, and eventually he got to know Bob and Linda. When he met them, Linda was pregnant with Tina. So in a way, Teddy has been around for so long that he watched the kids grow up. They've known him all their lives. It's very similar to Bob, who grew up in his dad's restaurant. Big Bob also had loyal customers that watched Bob grow up.
Someone's having fun at work today.
Yeah, a lot. I came up with a bunch of ideas for specials. The Crispy Brinkley Burger, the Richard Persimmons Burger, the Greeda's Gouda Burger.
Okay. Easy.
So in a way, Teddy and Mort continues that same cycle. The only difference is Big Bob's customers are normal people who respect personal boundaries. Teddy isn't like that. He doesn't just want to be the best customer. He wants to be part of the family. He wants the titles of best friend, uncle, substitute husband, all at the same time. And yeah, it's as weird as it sounds. Teddy forcefully inserts himself into their lives, even if it makes them uncomfortable.
I've got it all wrapped up and hidden away in the
a
super secret
hiding spot?
You also probably shouldn't know about that, but yes.
Teddy's social skills are non-existent when it comes to the Belchers. He doesn't know when to stop and has a hard time with boundaries.
I'm gonna just get it.
No.
Just,
I'll
let me get it.
I'll
Let me
get
get
it.
it. Let me
I
get
got
it. Let me
it.
get it.
Get out.
Let me get it.
Get away!
Ow, why?
He overly inserts himself into their marriage time.
Their anniversary's not tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, I know. But the anniversary of the day that they first went swimming together is.
It's their swimiversary.
Swimmiversary. I gotta mark that down.
And time.
When I come in here tomorrow, I better be dazzled by your date tonight. Dazzled! One burger today, Bobby.
And time again.
What about how well Linda sings that jingle on the radio about the accident lawyers? She nails it every time.
I really can do this myself, Teddy.
Well, you need 10. I got a list you can use.
You have a list?
It's not bad to care about your friend's marriage, but it's not great for him to try and live vicariously through their marriage and butt in on their special occasions.
Open up day one, Bobby.
Come on, let me open it.
No, Teddy.
Come on, let me
Get
open
off it.
Just let me open.
give
You
it
can
to
open up the
Teddy,
other
let
thing.
it go.
Just try to imagine that anytime you want to do something cute with your partner, you have this annoying spectator who just never goes away, especially on Valentine's Day.
Sexy cooking.
Oh, okay, right.
She got you.
Whipped cream. Sexy, right?
Very.
Teddy.
Thankfully, ever since he got into a relationship with Kathleen, he hasn't been as overly involved anymore. But for the majority of the series run, he was overbearing and over-involved in their lives. And as we talked about earlier, Teddy gets overprotective and jealous anytime Bob tries to make new friends or when they give special attention to other people. Teddy also overreacts to something as simple as the Belchers not telling him things.
So wait, whoa. Back up. You knew last night?
Yeah.
And you didn't call me? That's fine. I was up thinking about it, but that's fine.
or simply them not being open when he wants lunch. When they went on a last-minute vacation, he had a complete meltdown. He cried, yelled, and threw his key inside their mail slot. But that's when he noticed that they left a note for him. They knew he would have a fit, so they pre-made him a burger and left it in their apartment for him to get later.
Teddy, we know how you don't like when we leave, so we texted you, but we didn't hear back. Text? I didn't get it. Oh, look at that. We took a last-minute trip, but we made you a burger and we put it in the fridge in our apartment.
So clearly, he overreacted like they knew he would. And sometimes Linda would just leave a burger on a plate and stick it outside for him. One of Teddy's dreams was to work at Bob's Burgers, and when he finally got to do it, he was very excited to help out.
Oh, God help me.
Huh?
Teddy, I could actually use a hand.
Yeah, you won't regret this. You will not regret it. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I am in. I am ready.
Teddy has a spare key and usually uses it to do some repairs. Sometimes he uses it when the Belchers are away and they need him to do something.
We get a pen.
You don't need a pen,
hold on,
Teddy.
hold on,
You
hold
just
on.
need to turn the knob to off.
Turn the knob to. Go.
Off.
Off. Okay.
But sometimes he uses that same key to play in their restaurant. When they went on a road trip, Teddy not only made himself a burger, but he also played behind the counter, pretending that he married Linda and adopted Bob as his son.
You can be my son. I'll marry your wife, and you'll be my son. What a day. I love you, Dad.
He also went upstairs to take a bath in their tub and fell asleep in their bed. Teddy is both too comfortable and too unhinged. They were rightfully shocked to see him in their bed, as they should be. How you go from fixing a roof to sleeping in their bed?
I wasn't pretending to be you, I swear. And the bath made me very sleepy. I mean, I didn't even take a bath. Don't look in the bathroom.
Then he had the nerve to ask them to spend the night. Teddy is a lot. He doesn't just want to be any old customer. He wants to be as special to them as they are to him. And eventually he did get there with them. For a long time, Bob's Burgers and the Belcher family were the only constant in his life, so naturally he attached himself to them. It's not that the Belchers don't view him as family, far from it, but it's more so the fact that he's so overeager and damn near wants to move in with them. He wants to be a part of their world, somebody's world, anyone's world. He wants to be important in somebody's life and feels like his presence matters. And if he would calm down, he would see that he already matters to him. They care a lot about Teddy. Teddy is a reliable friend who comes through for them all the time. He's the same person who ran all the way to their house when he heard that there was a fire at the restaurant.
I thought I lost you there, Bob. Let me look at you. Kids, there you are. Linda, all the stuff we almost never got to say.
We're okay, Teddy. Wait, what?
He may be frustrating to deal with at times, but they like the guy and they want the best for him. I mean, they trust him to watch their kids for the weekend. And they also have invited him to Thanksgiving multiple times. And Bob even cooked his entire Thanksgiving dinner for him, even at the cost of his own prep time for his own Thanksgiving. And they stayed to have dinner with him when his family couldn't make it until after Thanksgiving. They wouldn't do any of that if they didn't care about him.
Thank you guys for all your help with my stuff, and putting up with my stuff, and making stuffing. It means a lot.
Of course.
There's also an episode where Teddy accidentally burnt down Reggie's gazebo. He was so down on himself that he was rethinking his entire career as a handyman. So the Belcher kids told him these big stories about his heroics to help him build back up his confidence. Granted, there was an ulterior motive to it, but it was still a nice thing for them to do. There really is no doubt about it. Teddy is part of the family. He just needed to know when to back off, and he also needed to respectfully get a life of his own. And as soon as he started to live less codependently, his character became a lot less toxic. But before we continue, let's give a round of applause for our special guest, Alissa.
My girl Tara makes a great point that Bob's Burgers is a constant in Teddy's life. When the Belchers meet Teddy, he was a lonely, sad divorcee, and like many losses in one's life, it's very hard to adjust to a new routine. Even though Teddy's marriage with his wife Denise wasn't the best, there were still habits and routines that he had built with her that shaped how he moved through his daily life. So even though Teddy mentions in the 300th episode that he was a burger guy, that was his old life. So when he was introduced to Bob's Burgers, he fell in love, which is what a lot of people do when they taste Bob's Burgers. I do believe that his attachment to the restaurant stems from the fact that he is a part of the foundation of it. He was there for the birth of not only Tina, but Bob's Burgers itself. And with Bob being a person who is iffy about change, I could only assume that Teddy easily fell in love with the structure of Bob's Burgers as a restaurant. With the predictable hours and the predictable menu, outside of the burger of the day of course, this was a gold mine for a new routine after his marriage that he could easily fall in line with. And because not much changes in the restaurant, whenever there is a slight shift in structure, Teddy loses his mind. Like I said, Bob's Burgers and the Belchers became Teddy's new routine after his marriage. And in a way, you could say that this became his replacement family. Because Teddy has constant access to the Belchers, it was easy for him to conflate that with closeness. Since he's always physically present with the Belchers, in his mind, he has related that to being essential to their family. And there's no denying that he is. However, it was hard for Bob to even admit that Teddy was his best friend. From Linda's perspective, because Teddy's always around, that automatically makes him Bob's closest friend. However, Bob didn't see it this way because he doesn't necessarily see Teddy as emotionally essential to him, but Teddy does. Even though Bob may not see proximity as equaling importance in his life, he can't deny that Teddy's proximity has done so much for his family, which would in turn mean that he's important. And that can mean different things for different people. Because Bob doesn't understand why Teddy becomes jealous whenever Bob tries to branch out socially from his norms. The Belchers also never really draw a line when it comes to what Teddy is and isn't allowed to do. When Bob and Linda were considering someone to babysit the kids while they were gone, their first thought literally went to everyone else instead of Teddy. But Teddy automatically assumed that that job will go to him because he's always around. And Teddy does have a sense of entitlement when it comes to Bob as a friend and even the restaurant as an establishment. He never gives the key back when the Belchers give it to him, he rearranges things, and he even gets offended when decisions are made without him. So boundaries seem to be blurred when it comes to Teddy and the Belchers. And as a person who definitely feels like food is a way that I bond with people, as someone who will literally cook and force my siblings to sit and watch something with me just so that we can spend some time together, I completely understand why Teddy has grown an attachment to the Belchers just by sitting and eating in front of them almost every day. A burger and a little conversation would definitely make me feel like I made some new besties too. And I can't help it, I feel like me and Teddy are quality time people at our core. Like, don't let me meet someone new and I enjoy their company. In the wise words of Keke Palmer, I need to spend more time with you. You're just everything. Whenever you have time, let me know. Teddy is usually the first person to focus test any new recipes, and his feedback is highly considered. In some way, Teddy can feel like Bob cooks specifically for him. And he's had a lot of important pivotal moments in his life in this restaurant. As someone who struggles socially, who was having a hard time getting out there romantically, and who has a dysfunctional family where he feels like he has to be the fixer, in the restaurant, he's useful. And that makes him feel important. So I don't blame Teddy for having such a strong emotional tie to the restaurant, which also crosses over to his strong emotional attachment to Bob. Teddy is a guy who's been through a lot, and Bob's Burgers alone helped him rebuild his life into a more stable place.
Thank you, Alissa. Very well said. Now let's move on with the video. So now that we talked about Teddy and the Belchers in general, I wanted to talk about his individual bonds with them. So first, let's start off with his bond with the Belcher babies, Tina, Jean, and Louise Belcher. Then afterwards, we'll go to Linda, and then afterwards, Bob. Teddy is an uncle figure to the Belcher children. He may be a bit of a lenient uncle.
Peel back the metal, then use this keyhole saw to get through the drywall, and before you know it, you've got your penny back. Good luck, kids.
Teddy, you're the dangerous uncle we've always wanted.
But he does try to mentor them. Honestly, Teddy can be really wise at times and tries to encourage them to do the right thing. But then again, he also helps them with their shenanigans behind their parents' back. And he doesn't do this maliciously, he's just very easy to trick.
How's that steamed broccoli coming along?
Nice and steamy!
Great, because I promised you folks that I'd feed you healthy meals.
And we appreciate it.
Teddy is super gullible and the kids are super mischievous. It's a bad combination. Teddy isn't strict on them at all, so they're able to get away with a lot more stuff when they go through Teddy. Like when he took them to the horse racing track without Bob knowing.
Wait, where are the kids?
They're with me at the track.
What?
You didn't know, Bobby?
No.
You really should keep a better eye on your kids, Bobby. You know, they could end up anywhere. In this case, they're safely with me at the track. Nothing to worry about. Tina, don't touch that. Maurice, get off at the track. The horses are racing.
He was also the one to tell the kids about the Taffy Factory legend, which in itself was a harmless joke. However, because of this, the kids went on a whole dangerous adventure to find the treasure he told them about, and they almost died. So Teddy is both a good influence on the kids and also a slightly dangerous one. Teddy wants to be a fun uncle to the Belcher children.
You know we've always thought of you as kind of a father figure mixed with an uncle.
With a splash of stranger, just enough to keep it interesting.
He doesn't have any kids of his own and sort of fills the void with them. He lets them store bikes specifically in his garage so that he can feel like he has kids.
Sometimes I pretend that I have 3 kids of my own, and these are their bikes.
Which kid is your favorite?
Jeremy. He needs me the most. The twins have each other.
Whoa.
Teddy does a lot of favor for the kids, and half the time Bob and Linda have no idea he's doing those favors. Like when the kids wanted an old rusty tub, they tricked Teddy into letting them have it by lying to him. He did question it a little bit, but ended up agreeing to help them. When Louise wanted to do the ice escapades for Santa, Teddy was very involved in the production and performance. He was dedicated.
What? What are we doing? Do I still spin around? What do I do? Ring a vault.
When Louise wanted to film a movie about Meat Man, Teddy helped with the entire production.
And Teddy, you shouldn't give my kids fireworks.
Bob, on the set, I like to be the solution guy, not the here's why we can't guy.
And that's not even half of the weird projects he got involved with for the kids. He went to their makeshift bachelor party, he pretended to be in Tina's fake church, he even helped Gene get an audition in a play he was working on. Perhaps the most selfless thing he did for the kids was performing with them for their wrestling show. It wasn't just the fact that he had to dress up and get fake beat up by the kids, but he also had to get slammed on the mat for every single performance. And you have to remember that Teddy is 50 years old with back problems. He has his own personal chiropractor.
I need you to let go. There we are. That's what I was looking for. That if you can just tap your two toes together, tap your big toes together. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Doing this messed up his body badly, but he wanted to do it for Louise.
You okay?
Oh, sure. Just being as sinister sea sponges, kind of doing a number on my back.
Teddy did really end up hurting his back during the last performance because he didn't want to let them down, so they had to improvise. Teddy is very committed to this fun uncle bit, even if he ends up hurting himself. Though I think my favorite example of him doing things for the kids is when he helped Bob pull off his haunted house for Louise. Definitely one of my favorite Halloween episodes.
Hi, Louise. Happy Halloween. It's Teddy from your dad's restaurant.
Teddy?
But outside projects aren't the only thing that Teddy likes to be involved in. Teddy also likes to be involved in her school projects sometimes, especially Louise's personal projects, which are usually very elaborate. When Louise wanted to put on a big production for her Topsy project, it was Teddy who built the entire device that almost electrocuted Tina.
How'd we do?
Well, he almost killed my daughter, so yeah, not great.
Oh, wow. Sorry about that.
He helped install the satellite for Tina's UFO project, and he literally begged for a part in Tina's book report on the Call of the Wild. Sadly, he couldn't make it to that one.
Did I miss it? Tina! Did I miss it?
He even helps with illegal school projects, like giving Louise the tools she needed to do her insane turkey play, or when he gave them power tools to cut through the walls of the locker. But I guess in that case, he didn't exactly know what they were doing. But the point is, he probably shouldn't have given the kids power tools either way. Teddy is an important part of the Belcher kids' schemes because he usually gives them what they want without asking too many questions, and they love him for that. Even if he isn't the most responsible adult around, Bob and Linda trust him enough to watch the kids. Teddy is the second default babysitter if Jen is not available. He watched them over the weekend in about 2 occasions so far. One when he first watched them and had a lot of trouble trying to keep Tina in line, and another where he hurt his back and stayed on the floor for the entire weekend, while the kids did whatever they wanted. He tries to be responsible enough to keep them alive, but fun enough that the kids want to spend time with him. For the most part, Teddy just wants to be the fun uncle. However, sometimes he also wants to be a wise uncle and influence them to make good choices. There was an episode where the kids wanted to get first pick of the free presents given out by the yacht club. Teddy was working the party as Santa Claus.
I was doing some work at the club and they asked me. The guy they were going to use got in shape this year to quote-unquote stay alive longer. His loss, my gain, right guys?
Because the Belcher kids wanted the presents, they thought that they could use Teddy as an easy way to get them. Teddy was unsure about letting them get first pick of the presents, but instead of outright saying no, he instead appeals to their conscience.
If you really think it's the right thing for you to get gifts ahead of the other kids, I'll get you gifts.
Then it's up to us?
I guess.
At first, the kids did the selfish thing and got the presents ahead of the other kids, but Louise started to have a change of heart when she sees the other kids' faces.
Seeing some excited faces, some Christmas joy, feeling some guilt, some regrets. Gonna close my eyes, don't like it.
Me too. Oh God, I still see their faces. Wait, I didn't close my eyes.
The kids ended up giving the presents back to Teddy and chose to be selfless instead. Teddy rewarded them by sending them back to his boat, where they found presents already set aside for them, along with a note from Teddy.
I knew you kids would do the right thing. Here's an RC car that goes too fast. Merry Christmas, Uncle, Father, Santa, Teddy.
That thoughtful son of a gun. I get it first.
You did it, Teddy. You're a good sailor.
Teddy felt good for what he did and was happy the kids chose to do the right thing. This episode was one of the nicer teaching moments from Teddy, but it won't be his last time imparting wisdom on the kids. Speaking of, I do want to talk about his relationship with the kids individually, because while he does treat them as a unit, he does have unique relationships with each one of them. When it comes to the kids as individuals, Tina and Louise are the two he has the most storylines with. When it comes to schemes, Gene is more of a helper than a schemer. Gene only has a handful of episodes where he's the one doing the masterminding. So for the most part, Gene doesn't need Teddy's help all that often. He goes to Teddy when the group goes to Teddy, but Gene doesn't really ask Teddy for anything himself. They just have funny banter.
I've heard of that guy. The macho seaplane pilot who beds bored housewives.
What do you mean beds? He makes their beds?
No, Gene. Kurt is seducing your mommy.
On the other hand, Teddy has extensive experience helping Louise and Tina. Most of the schemes I mentioned earlier were for Louise. Louise asks him to do things for her like every other episode. She takes advantage and manipulates Teddy all the time because he's an easy target. Though to be fair, she does the same thing to most adults in the show, but Teddy is one of the easiest targets for her, aside from Mr. Frann. If she does ask him for favors, he is more than willing to help her with anything. Like when she wanted to get rid of the snow in the park illegally, he did that for her.
Teddy, you there?
Oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God, oh God.
Okay, I'm coming down there.
No. You stay where you are. The park's no place for a kid. I'll take care of this.
When Louise wanted a loft bed, he built one for her to have space for herself. And again, every time she has a crazy project or an idea, Teddy is the one she calls to help her. He even built them a fully wooden restaurant to play in. He really is a reliably dangerous uncle for Louise. Louise and Teddy have a very nice relationship, though I do have to bring up the whole bed and breakfast incident between them. That was the one time Louise had major beef with Teddy. When Linda gave Teddy Louise's bed to use while she ran her bed and breakfast, Louise was not having it.
What are you doing?
Oh, hi, Louise.
Oh, hi, Mom.
Hello.
You're holding my stuff.
Hello, my little lady.
Hello, Mom. What are you doing with my stuff?
And while she couldn't take out her frustrations with Linda, she took them out on Teddy.
And I'll see you in hell, Teddy.
I'm sorry, Teddy.
I will see you in hell.
At first, she intimidated him with cheese and gave him a warning, but when he didn't listen, she got real. Louise sprayed his pillow with pheromones, waited until the middle of the night, and released a bunch of bugs into his room. It was so disturbing to see all those bugs attached to his face, but he was kind of chill about the whole thing. He didn't react the way Louise wanted him to.
You should probably get to the hospital. You okay to drive?
No, I don't need a hospital. I'll be fine. This is still a magical weekend.
Aww.
You know?
It's a perfect guest.
What's for breakfast?
Eggs.
So when Louise heard he was afraid of costume character mascots, she hired a whole pack of them to scare him senselessly. Poor Teddy was fighting for his life. The craziest part of the situation is Teddy wasn't even mad at Louise for any of it. What a forgiving guy. But keep in mind that this all happened in season 1. For the majority of the series, Teddy and Louise have gotten along really well. So let's move on to Teddy and Tina now. Tina and Teddy have a very interesting dynamic. Just like Louise, Tina will always ask Teddy for favors if she needs them, but she does it a lot less than Louise. Tina likes Teddy and wants him to be happy. When it comes to his love life, Tina and Linda are the main ones who's always trying to set him up. In fact, Tina was the one who noticed the spark between him and Kathleen and pushed for them to get to know each other better. And it worked. Teddy has been dating Kathleen for a while now, in part thanks to Tina's matchmaking skills. So just like Teddy helps out with the projects or schemes, she helps him in social areas sometimes. However, when it comes to the uncle bonding thing, it's Tina that was the most resistant to it. Tina and Teddy had their first conflict in the episode Uncle Teddy, an episode that bonded the kids to Teddy and shows us the audience how much he cares for them. The episode Uncle Teddy was the first time he's ever watched the children. Bob was skeptical, but Linda was all for it. He watched them for free for the weekend, or that was the plan at least. Reggie hired a new delivery boy named Jonas, and Tina had a crush on him.
Cold cuts just got hot.
Teddy tries his best to connect with the kids and have fun, but it wasn't going well at first. He wanted to bond, but they wanted to watch TV.
I'm just gonna fix the kitchen sink. I noticed it's draining kind of slow.
Have fun.
What'd you say?
Oh, I said I think we just said have fun. We'll be here.
Okay.
Yeah.
But once Teddy started to do handyman work and fix the sink, the kids became very interested in what he was doing. And that's when Louise and Jean started to warm up to Teddy. Tina decided to go pick up dinner for everyone at Reggie's Deli, which of course was part of her not so subtle plan to cozy up to Jonas. She places an order with Reggie and was locked in on her prize.
That's for here to go.
For delivery?
Delivery? But you're here.
Just make the sandwiches, Reggie.
Okay, I'm making the sandwiches. It's okay. Here we go.
Jonas and his melonica, and after he gave her a musical demonstration, he also gave her a ride back to her place, since she was heading there anyway. Her plan was a success. She got to talk to him and ride a bike with him.
It's happening.
You don't have to hold me so tight.
Oh, this isn't tight.
When Louise told Teddy that Tina was riding on the back of a bike with a stranger, Teddy was rightfully concerned. He gently asked Tina what was she doing riding on the back of a motorbike. He was not sure how he should react because it was a very gray area between a bike and a motorcycle, so he didn't know the protocol. But Louise had an idea.
Round her and give me all of her stuff.
Teddy just lets it go and tells her to meet them upstairs for dinner. Tina talks to Jonas and tells him about her parents leaving for the weekend and the fact that her family owns a restaurant, which gave Jonas an idea. He wanted to bring his friends over later that night and have a small gathering in her restaurant. Tina was unsure because she knows she's not allowed to have a party, but Jonas charms her into agreeing.
I'll be there, right? That's not too bad, right?
Uh-huh.
I'll bring my hair.
Yeah.
Okay, I punch out in an hour, 60 minutes, and I'll tell my friends to swing by.
Jonas obviously knows she has a crush on him and was taking advantage of it. He was even blowing her kisses and everything. Teddy, Louise, and Jean were having fun, pulling out gunk from the sink. Teddy tries to invite Tina to be part of it, but she told him that she wanted to do homework in the restaurant instead. Teddy just says whatever and lets her go.
Maybe after I knock out this pesky homework, huh?
What are you, bookworm? Huh? Have fun. Who wants to taste it?
Me.
Tina opens the restaurant for Jonas and his friends, still feeling unsure about everything. Jonas even convinced her to fire up the grill and make some burgers, which again is something she's definitely not allowed to do. But he flirted with her again, and Tina bent faster than a lawn chair. We got a cute little montage of Teddy bonding with the kids by letting them play with power tools, and he was this close into letting Louise play with a blowtorch until he heard weird noises from the restaurant.
Here you go. Hold on. You hear that?
Nope.
Sounds like an accordion, but worse.
Nope, in your head.
Nope, it's something downstairs.
No, in your head upstairs.
Teddy went to go check it out and caught Tina hanging out with these older boys. Teddy was upset, but he still tried to calmly talk to Tina, saying how she was putting him in a tough position right now. She knows that she's not allowed to have friends over this late. Then Jonas makes the mistake of sassing Teddy, and Teddy was not letting that slide at all.
With that kind of attitude, you're only gonna raise your blood pressure to unsafe levels.
Don't lecture me about my blood pressure. I'm predisposed to like salty foods. Out! Everybody out of my friend's restaurant.
Tina got angry at Teddy for embarrassing her, and she went out to go talk to Jonas. The boys were heading to the cove, and Jonas invited Tina to come along if she wanted. But of course, if she was going to come, he asked her to bring more burgers with her. I guess his greedy ass was still hungry.
Hey, if you come, bring some burgers with you. Here's a little one.
Got it.
Little mouth burger.
Tina gets in trouble for letting a bunch of random boys in her parents' restaurant. Tina pushes back at Teddy and says that he can't stop her from seeing Jonas. Jonas likes her and has invited her out, so she wants to go. But Teddy puts his foot down and told her that she's 13 and she's not going anywhere tonight.
My temporary house, my temporary rules. You don't like it? There's the door that you can't go out.
I hate your temporary rules.
Tina was giving Teddy hell in this episode. This was definitely one of her more rebellious episodes in the show. Tina was pissed off and did what most rebellious angry teens would do. She snuck out anyway. Tina was really risking it all for a guy she met a few hours ago. She met up with him at the beach and gave Jonas the burgers. She couldn't make the burgers herself, so instead she just picked a few up. And Jonas didn't care because he was just hungry. He even played Tina a bit of his music at her request.
No.
Oh, great.
No. Wow, it's almost like music.
Bob called Teddy to check in on the kids. Teddy asked if he wanted to talk to kids, and Bob reluctantly agreed. Teddy checked in on the kids one by one, seeing that Louise and Jean were asleep, only to discover that Tina was missing. Teddy rightfully freaked out, but tried to play it off on the phone like he didn't just lose a whole kid.
I'll happily put on Tina if you want to talk to her right now, Bobby.
No, it's all right. Let her
I
sleep.
will wake her up with a bucket of water and a cowbell if that's going to make you happy, Bobby. You want to talk to your daughter? You got it.
Bob doesn't find this suspicious and tells Teddy he'll call him back in the morning. Once he hung up, Teddy freaks out and wakes up Louise. He tells her that Tina is missing, and she replies that she's probably somewhere kissing. And that's when Teddy had his target in mind.
Jonas, the sandwich boy.
The boys were getting bored, so Jonas suggested to break into the lighthouse. They weren't totally on board, but Tina co-signed it and agreed to go with him. Jonas lifted Tina through the window so that she could unlock the door for the rest of them. But just as she got into the lighthouse, they were caught by Ranger Danko. The guys left her behind and let her take the fall. And because her parents were out of town, he was going to keep her at the Ranger station overnight. Teddy shook down Reggie for information.
My oldest temporary niece, Tina, ran off with your delivery boy. I'm not blaming you, but I'm blaming you.
Where are they, Reggie? Where are they?
Jonas would sell you out in a hot second.
You can't even look us in the eye!
And he told them about the cove. Teddy was able to get there on time before Tina was taken away by Ranger Danko. Teddy begged him to let her go, but Ranger Danko Danko wanted to throw her in Ranger jail. Teddy made a passionate plea and takes responsibility for Tina sneaking out. He apologizes on her behalf and gave a kind testament to Tina's character.
I've only been an uncle for a day. I guess I couldn't handle the job. Maybe she didn't do the right thing tonight, but she's got heart, this one, and she follows it. She's just a mixed-up kid who's going through a ton of puberty right now.
Ranger Danko decides to let her go and had to deal with the frustrated experience of getting Teddy to sign a piece of paper.
No, where it says Guardian.
So, at the bottom?
No, on the line.
So, just anywhere on the form, just right at the bottom?
Anywhere. Okay, just never mind. Forget it.
Teddy was relieved that Tina was okay, and Tina apologizes for sneaking out. Jonas eventually sneaks back, and Tina thought he came back for her, but really he came back for his bike. Teddy called him out for only coming back for his moped, and also calls him out for using Tina for free food and leaving her to drive with Ranger Danko. And even Louise and Jean called him out for leaving their sister.
She's too good for you, but good enough for a lot of guys.
Which makes you the worst, Joan ass.
Remember how I said Teddy has a bit of a temper? Well, he lost his on Jonas when he tried to leave. Teddy pushed Jonas off of his moped and threw it off of a cliff. And the hilarious part is the instant regret he has.
Oh, that's bad. Tell you what, instant regret. I cannot believe I did that. Talk about losing your cool, Teddy. You're gonna have a lot to talk about this week at therapy.
Bob and Linda came back early and ended up running into them on their way back. Bob was very confused on why there was a teen crying in the water and what they were doing out so late. And the episode ends with Teddy telling them it was time for bed.
What is that kid doing in the water?
Rescuing a drowning moped?
Well, God, it's late. Bedtime, kids. Bedtime.
Anything you say, Uncle Teddy.
In this episode, Tina was doing the absolute most with Teddy. Teddy wanted to be a semi-responsible babysitter, but her constant defiance put him in a really awkward position. He wanted to be the fun uncle who lets the kids play with power tools, but Tina kept forcing him into the responsible adult role by breaking rules her parents set for a boy. And even when Tina was being a total brat, Teddy still tried to be responsible and tried to give her grace. Even after she snuck out late, Teddy was more worried about her than angry. He searched all over town, found her, and saved her from having to spend a night in Teen Ranger jail.
It's not Teen Ranger jail, it's just Ranger jail.
And when Jonas tried to zoom away after mistreating Tina, Teddy made sure he didn't get away with it. Teddy really came through for Tina in this episode. He didn't even tell on her to her parents. He just let bygones be bygones. He figured that she learned her lesson by this point, that there was probably no need to get her in trouble. She put him through hell in that episode, and he still held space for her and protected her. He was a good uncle in this episode. And this wasn't the only time where his words had an effect on Tina. There was an episode called Teen Entrepreneurs where Tina ran a fake company with her classmates. At first, they had a fun, profitable product. However, just like greedy companies under capitalism, they start to cut corners, mistreat their workers, and eventually get into debt trying to sell a knockoff. And most of that was Tina's fault. So to pay off her debt to Edith, Tina decided to do the less honorable thing and tried to pass the failing company off to someone else. And guess who was the perfect target? Yep, Teddy. Teddy thought the product was bad and the business was a red flag. However, because it was Tina who was asking him, he was willing to invest $100 into her company. Teddy chose to trust her, even if the entire thing sounded shady. Louise and Jean tried to warn Teddy that Tina was trying to scam him, but Teddy still had unwavering faith in Tina.
You're Bob's kid, and if your company is anything like Bob's Burgers, I know I'm getting in on something special. So here's my $100.
Because he believed in her so much, Tina felt bad and had a change of heart. She decided not to scam Teddy and told him the truth. And even after she confessed, he still wanted to invest with her.
Wow, I don't know what to say. Except that kind of honesty, I've never believed in you more than right now.
Take your money back, damn it.
I'm just gonna give you more, Tina.
They literally had to hold him down and shove the money back in his pocket. Teddy was screaming and crying over the whole thing, and I found that to be very funny. So while Teddy can be irresponsible with what he gives the kids access to, he still tries his best to be a good influence on them. Whether it's encouraging them, giving them words of wisdom, supporting their big ideas, or saving them from themselves. Teddy, for better or for worse, is a big part of their lives. And while sometimes he can be very gullible, he's still a very kind and supportive figure in their lives. It's nice that the kids can count on him when they need help with something or when they're in trouble. Teddy gets to be the reliable, fun, yet sometimes wise uncle that he always wanted to be. So while Teddy has a lot of rough or unhappy parts of his life, I think the good he does with the kids help balance out all that misfortune he has. Teddy's relationship with the kids is one of the best parts of his character. We get to see his imaginative, supportive, and fatherly side, things we don't see that often. And that's great. Next, let's talk about his friendship with Linda. We did cover a lot of the weird romantic subtext between them in part 1, but here we're mostly going to talk about how they are as friends. We already talked about the weird one-sided attraction Teddy had towards Linda in part 1, specifically how intense his feelings were.
You're attracted to my best friend Teddy? Hey, I get it. I mean, you do have something. I've got eyes. I'm not an idiot. It's like when you walk outside and you feel the air before a storm. It's just churning, right?
In the early seasons, it's almost like Teddy was waiting for Bob to mess up so that he can swoop in and take his spot as the patriarch of the family. It's one of the main reasons I see people get creeped out by Teddy's advancements. But outside of that, Teddy and Linda have a very funny friendship. You know that friend who's so supportive that they will actively encourage you in your shenanigans? Yeah, that's these two.
Go to them! Oh. Go to the museum! Oh. Be with your babies! Go to them!
I gotta go! I gotta go!
We'll be fine!
I'm waiting on fries.
Lock the door, Linda!
Why are we going?
Lock the door! Never look back! Never look back!
When you take the crush part out, their friendship is actually really nice. Linda is Teddy's wing woman. She tries to set him up on dates, she encourages him when he's feeling self-conscious, she talks him up to potential partners, and she even tried to help him when she was hosting speed dating. When Teddy has an unorthodox request, it's Linda who usually advocates to help him. Usually Bob wants to say no, but Linda would sometimes push Bob to say yes. Like when Teddy needed help making Thanksgiving dinner, it was Linda who convinced Bob to help him. Linda helps him in pretty much every area of his life. Sure, sometimes she oversteps, like trying to deal with his hoarding problem in that same episode. However, it's always with good intentions in mind. She wants Teddy to be happy and will do whatever she can to help his life be better. She recognizes that he's lonely.
We both know Teddy could use the company. He's a lonely guy.
Okay, fine.
She knows he has a crush on her.
Teddy, are you sure this isn't because you had a sexy dream about me?
What? No! Recently? No!
But at the same time, she still wants to help. Mainly because she doesn't want him to be like that for the rest of his life.
You want Teddy to be miserable for 30 years? In our restaurant, eating, sobbing with his mouth open?
Fine. I'll help him see good signs, whatever that means.
Yeah, you will.
It's almost like she wants to be his fairy godmother, and he's her Cinderella.
Sure, she's gorgeous and rich, and why would she go out with you? But also, why not you, right? Why can't you be Cinderella?
Teddy-rella.
Whether it's helping him choke down sushi, teaching him how to dance, or letting him decorate their shop so that he can rub it in Glenn's face, Linda has his back. It was Linda who helped him get closure on his trauma in the Navy. When he couldn't drive his girlfriend home from the doctor, it was Linda who stepped in to help him. If it wasn't for her, he wouldn't have known the truth about the Navy, or he wouldn't have gotten that sweet ending with Kathleen. Linda may be pushy, but Teddy is the type of person who needs that type of push to make a positive change. If you don't meddle in Teddy's life, he will make the worst possible decisions in life and only live in his comfort zone. It's a chance he probably wouldn't have married Denise if he had friends like the Belchers in his life beforehand. Having them in his life keeps him on the right track. Teddy is very supportive of Linda too. If Linda asks him to help her with something, Teddy's usually down to help. He always supports her crazy ideas or weird activities. When she wanted to dye everything green on St. Patty's Day, Teddy encouraged her to go for it.
Green fries? Are you kidding me? What a day to be alive.
All right, now that we're officially doing this, even though Bob didn't want us to, should we,
What?
dye the burgers?
What color? Oh, right, green.
Even if they had fun, it wasn't the best idea. It turns out people do not want to eat green burgers. When Linda ran a bed and breakfast, she hated how boring her guests were, so Teddy offered to come and be the perfect guest. He didn't complain, he joined in on social activities, and helped her live out her dream. When she was feeling self-conscious about her rash, Teddy offered moral support.
I'm hiding my pits.
Glenn, would it help if I took off my shirt and a show of solidarity? I got some weird stuff going on under here.
No, Teddy, no.
Coming off.
I think the funniest interaction between them is when Linda made a whole bunch of sweet potato pies, but forgot to add sugar to them. Teddy thought it was disgusting, but he was also strangely addicted to eating it, so he spent the whole episode eating the bad pie.
Here, let me try this one. Oh, awful. Gross.
Pass the whipped cream, please.
Hold on. A little more.
And in one episode, they joined forces to do a book battle with a wizard. They had to leave because the cops were called on them, but I enjoyed the little punky bookster adventure they went on.
Crap, Teddy, let's get out of here. Leave the amp, leave the guitar, let's go.
You sure? That's more stuff.
I'm sure, let's go.
Abracabye.
I think the biggest example of how much Teddy looks out for her is when he helped the Belchers search for her when she went missing on her birthday. That was definitely one of my favorite episodes. Teddy drove the family all around town looking for her.
I'm looking for my wife. She's got black hair and red glasses.
And amazing wrists, but huge hands.
Teddy.
What? I'm just trying to be specific.
He didn't have to do that, but he wanted to make sure she was safe along with the rest of the family. They are both very supportive of each other and have a nice friendship.
What happened here?
Couch is gone, Teddy.
Linda, I am so sorry.
Oh, you know, I just keep having to tell myself it's life, you know? It's natural.
It is.
Besides the total support between them, they both just like to talk. Teddy could talk endlessly and so can Linda. They both talk for hours, and they both overshare crazy details about each other. How do you think Teddy knows half of the stuff he knows about the Belchers? It's all Linda making small talk while he soaks up every detail of their lives. He listens so much that he knows the entire lore of Linda's raccoon colony in the back alley.
Is it true? Was the king deposed?
Yep, there's the bastard now.
Hey, look at him. El Diablo.
When did you both become crazy raccoon people?
Linda's been telling me stories about these little guys. It's like I'm part of their magical world.
He's also very caught up in the drama with the PTA. Specifically her drama with Colleen.
She ran it 3 years ago and Colleen Caviello tanked it to make Linda look bad. And ever since then, Colleen's taken it over and run that bake sale like it's her own exclusive club. But now it's Linda's turn again.
Either way, it works out perfectly for Bob. Bob isn't as talkative as Teddy, so having Linda around keeps Teddy entertained, while Bob just hangs out and gives occasional commentary on the things that they're talking about. But the bad side of that is them hyping up each other's craziness.
Wow, they definitely feel different.
They do?
I knew it. It's not normal business stuff in there. It's something else. Something mysterious and maybe supernatural.
Definitely.
Teddy and Linda have a lot of parallels with each other. They both have slight boundary issues. They both overextend for their mothers and their families. They both have a hard time saying no sometimes. They're both talkative. They're both idealistic and tends to have high expectations. I can go on and on about the similarities between these two. They even have similar music tastes. They aren't the same person by any means, but they have a ton in common. It's a good reason why they get along so well. They have similar lines of thinking. So similar that Teddy tends to agree with her and will take her side over Bob's.
So, burial.
No! Cremation, then landing on the DeLorean.
Bob, know when you've lost an argument.
It's no wonder these two can talk forever. But again, the whole crush thing was a weird part of their friendship.
It is weird she never mentioned it.
Maybe she tried to block it out? Or maybe you haven't been a sensitive enough partner for her to feel safe opening up to you?
What?
It's probably the first thing.
He may think that she's pretty and likes that she smells like fries, but it's nothing too serious. Honestly, I think he more so likes what Linda represents rather than Linda herself. Again, I went over all that in the first video. Thankfully, it's been phased out of the show, so now we just have these two goofing off with each other. And honestly, I prefer it that way. I enjoy these two doing random stuff and being friends with each other, and being slightly bad influences on each other.
She's not here to kill you with gun glasses, Lynn.
That's so mean, Bob. Don't tell me I can't get killed.
Yeah, Bob, don't tell your wife she can't get killed.
Sorry.
This is the duo that I like.
I told you, Bob. Ooh, is the car a ghost too? Teddy, what do you think?
Ghost car.
Oh my god.
Ghost car.
Anyways, Linda and Teddy are important pillars of support in each other's lives. Linda pushes him to live his life to the fullest and go after what he wants. And Teddy is there to support Linda in all her insane glory, even if it gets them in trouble sometimes. And I just find them really funny together.
And when I'm done, I'm gonna look like Gretchen's skinny sister.
Gretchen's sister is skinny, Lynn, but it's because she's on methamphetamines.
Whatever works, Teddy. Don't judge.
I am looking forward to the next Teddy and Linda adventure. I definitely look forward to them doing the absolute most together. Now let's talk about what you all probably been waiting for. The friendship of Bob and Teddy. God, I can make an entire video on the evolution of their friendship. It's such a fun subject because these two have a noticeable timeline of when Teddy went from being just a customer to a genuine friend. But that's a whole video all on its own. But in this video, I want to talk about them more in a more general sense. Bob and Teddy have a very long history in the show. Teddy has been in the show since the very first season, so naturally these two went through a lot of phases in the show. In the beginning, they had a very typical business, regular customer dynamic. Then around season 5, they went through an evolution from Teddy being just another loyal customer to a true friendship between them. And ever since then, we've seen their friendship both grow and become more complicated as time goes on. Bob and Teddy have been friends for over 14 years. Not only does Teddy eat there every day, but he's also their dedicated handyman for literally everything. Decorating, fixing things, building things, whatever they need. They hire Teddy because he's their friend and because his prices are very low. Teddy is a self-taught handyman, so he's not exactly fully certified and licensed like a high-end handy person would be. So he keeps his prices low and accessible. And even with Teddy's already low prices, he charges the Belchers friend prices on top of that. And on top of that, we already talked about all of the business hookups that Teddy brings to Bob's Burgers. So in a way, Bob is kind of lucky to have a friend like Teddy who gives him discounts and helps him with business opportunities. Bob and Teddy have a very funny relationship. Most days, everything is normal. Teddy shows up, offers his colorful commentary, or tells the Belchers a long-winded story about his day. Most of the time, Bob barely listens to him, or usually talks with him, but there are times when they can get very intense with each other.
I'm leaving.
Good!
Yeah, I'm leaving.
Great! That's
I'm
great!
leaving.
Leave! I hope your car isn't out of batteries.
Your cars don't have batteries, idiot. They run on gas and batteries. Damn it.
When these two fight, it's usually over something small that spiraled into a yelling match.
Oh, is it see? Pervert! What do you call it, pervert?
It's written on the bill.
Here's your $4.16, Bob. Best of luck. There's a million restaurants I can go to.
Then go to them all, Teddy.
These two can fight over literally everything, and it's the funniest thing ever. I remember one time they got into a beef over their tools. Bob's kitchen knife versus Teddy's hammer.
Oh, we're really gonna regret this.
I'll fix it later with my hammer.
No, you won't. You'll never fix
Yes,
anything with
I
that.
will.
I'll come back later.
Bye, Maud.
I can't really count how many times these two have gotten into it. And again, most of the time it's not over anything serious. They just get annoyed with each other and lose their tempers.
Scott.
No,
not. I mean.
Scatty, body, body.
I meant go, not scat. Go.
No.
Go.
Where am I supposed to go?
Shoot. Get out, Teddy. Get out.
So I should go?
Their fights are hands down my favorite part of their friendship. That and the fact that Teddy thinks Bob's last name is Burger.
His name is Bob Burger.
It's not.
It is.
It isn't. No.
It's not?
No. Are you serious?
Bob Burgers. Bob Burgers. Then who am I thinking of?
I don't know.
But the side.
The friendship between these two are very interesting because of how layered it is. So let's talk about Teddy's side of it first. Teddy is deeply devoted to Bob and Bob's Burgers. His intense obsession with Bob can borderline feel like he's in love with him or something.
What about Bob's knuckle here? Like sometimes it catches the light just so, and it makes you feel safe?
I already got that one.
Teddy idolizes Bob and often refers to him as his best friend, even though he ironically can't remember his last name. He thinks Bob has the perfect life and the perfect family. Teddy doesn't have a nuclear family of his own and uses Bob's to fill the void he feels in his life.
That ham smells good. Wish my place smelled this hammy. Bob's really got it all.
Teddy goes back and forth between wanting to be Bob's best friend and wanting to be Bob. He's not Millie level obsessed, but he's still very clingy.
I'm leaving.
No, don't go.
Goodbye.
No, don't go.
Teddy, let
This
go
is
of
the
me.
best Christmas Eve ever. Don't ruin it.
When it comes to Teddy and Bob, Teddy has some serious boundary issues. He has very little discernment and has a hard time knowing when to back off. He often makes Bob uncomfortable by prying too much in his personal life. Not only does he invade his space, but he invades his privacy. Bob gets annoyed, but he just lets it go. There isn't much he can do about it, but you can tell it definitely bothers him. As I said earlier, Teddy is very devoted to Bob. He is willing to do nearly anything for him. Whenever Bob calls, Teddy will come running, even if it means dropping whatever he's doing.
Dr. Marjorie says that I spend all my time fixing things for other people, so who fixes me? Screw it. Bob needs me. I'm coming as fast as I can, Linda.
And when Teddy physically can't be there, he does feel guilty for having his own life.
Well, my place is being fumigated, so my oven's out of commission. Jeez. Man. Why of all the stupid times I picked to get termites? God. Oh, man.
Teddy makes himself completely available to Bob and puts Bob's needs ahead of his own. It's very rare that Teddy can't do something for Bob, and most of the times that he can't is because he physically isn't there. And even so, if he's close enough, he'll rush back home to Bob if he needs to.
I've literally had this exact dream. Your heater breaks. I rush over. Linda is scared and so are you. But I look you both in the eyes and I say, shh, I'm here. Teddy's here. You're fine.
There was an episode where Teddy missed a family event just so he can help Bob get new equipment for his restaurant.
There's nowhere I'd rather be. Not even my cousin's wedding today.
Wait, what? Teddy, you didn't have to do this.
It's fine. It's just my brother's son. So cocky because he found true love.
He takes care of Bob and will always volunteer to help him out no matter what. We literally have an episode of Teddy trying to help Bob get off the toilet he was stuck to.
Doing real good. We're not doing good.
Teddy, I can hear you.
No, you can't. The hairdryer's on. This is a disaster. It's not working, Linda.
The hairdryer is off, Teddy. I can hear
I can't hear you over the hairdryer, Bobby.
That's devoted friendship. An episode that comes to mind on how far Teddy will go is Wolf on Wharf Street. This is a classic Halloween episode from Bob's Burgers. When Bob hurt his knee trying to jump into pants like he was Beyonce, Teddy had to babysit him for the night while Linda went trick-or-treating with the kids. And the reason Teddy had to watch Bob was because Bob tends to get weird on pain pills. Bob wasn't too thrilled about it, but Teddy was excited to play nurse and care for Bob.
You can count on me. I'll even hold your penis if you need me to, Bob.
I don't need you to hold my penis, Teddy.
Well, then I can just, prop it up for you. Use a broom handle or a dustpan or something.
At first, they just hung out on the couch and watched old spooky specials, but Bob started to become a little jumpy. Teddy tries to be a good nurse and feed Bob soup. Bob was resistant, but eventually he gave in and let him spoon feed him. Bob also noticed a suspicious mark on Teddy's arm, but Teddy just denied it and changed the subject and focused on feeding Bob scolding hot soup.
Whoa, so way too hot, Teddy.
Whoa. This is like room temperature now, Bobby.
Do you think that's room temperature?
Yes.
Stick your finger in it.
Okay. It's fine.
Eventually, Bob tries to convince Teddy to give him another pill. Teddy was unsure if he should, because Linda didn't say anything about giving him extra medicine, but he ended up caving and giving him more pain pills.
Here, I'm gonna cut this in half. Eat both halves.
That's a weird way of regulating how much I take.
Well, then I know you at least had 2 halves.
As Linda predicted, Bob started to feel paranoid. He believed that Teddy was bitten by a werewolf and was becoming one himself.
He's transforming!
So Bob pretended to fall on the floor, and when Teddy went to go help him, he handcuffed him to the table. He then got up and accused Teddy of being a werewolf.
I heard you fighting the beast inside you.
What?
You're the Wonder Wolf!
Bob then fails to swallow the keys and then promptly fell down the stairs a total of 3 times in a row.
Bob, talk to me. Say something.
Don't pretend like you care about me, werewolf.
For the rest of the episode, Bob had Teddy running after him all over town while carrying a table on his back. Eventually, he did find Bob and was able to bring him back home. Teddy was of course not a werewolf. The bite just came from him biting himself in his sleep. And Teddy's hairy because, well, genetics. But Teddy had to stay the night because Bob lost the keys to the handcuffs.
I didn't lose them, Teddy. I threw them to the moon. It made sense at the time.
And the episode ends. I love this episode because for 1, it's a fun Halloween episode. 2, it's funny. And 3, it shows just how far Teddy will go to keep Bob safe. Most people would have just given up after being handcuffed, but Teddy chased Bob all over town with the table on his back. Bob gave Teddy hell in this episode, but Teddy was looking out for him regardless. Even if Bob doesn't need the help, Teddy will be there to lend a hand. They took hip-hop classes together.
See the way I'm walking, with one of my arms lower than the other and my foot dragging? Well, that's hip-hop.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's hip-hop.
He helped Bob with his haunted house prank. He even drove Bob's parade float for him. There are countless examples, and I mean countless examples, of Teddy helping him out. Most of Teddy's appearances are either him being completely crazy or really helpful. Sometimes a mix of both. Even if Teddy does a lot for Bob, he also asks for a lot of unreasonable favors in return. Teddy is too socially oblivious to understand how inconvenient most of his requests can be. He's not the most self-aware person and tends to create awkward situations. The Thanks Hoarding episode we talked about is one example of this. Bob went from just helping him prep to basically having to prep the entire meal himself.
Is this peeled enough?
It's not peeled at all.
And later, when Bob gave him very clear instructions, Teddy was still freaking out over how he was going to cook all this prep food. So he made Bob take pictures of him putting food in the oven because he's a visual learner, even though it doesn't really make that much sense.
Sound like you're putting those carrots in the oven.
Fine! How does my hair look?
It's a little messy. Can you push it over to push it the other way?
Just
Come
take
on,
the
just
picture.
push it the other way.
No.
That's how you want to represent yourself cooking?
You're right. Let me fix it.
There was a recent episode where Bob had to find Teddy, who was locked in a cellar somewhere. The problem was he had no idea where he was because his client blindfolded him when he brought him there. So Bob had to retrace Teddy's steps using vague clues in order to find him. It's a very fun episode, but it was a very hard request for anyone to do. Tracking down someone using faint clues like sounds and the smell of lavender isn't a small favor. Or even Bob and Linda letting him turn their entire restaurant into a sports bar just to impress Teddy's girlfriend. So while Teddy does a lot for Bob, he can also ask for a lot in return. Teddy can be very protective of the Belcher family, especially Bob. We already talked about how extremely jealous he can get when Bob makes new friends. We already talked about his aggression towards the cool couple, Mort and the Steve guy. But Teddy can also be protective of Bob in general. When Bob was glued to the toilet, Teddy literally broke the door down to get to Bob.
Teddy, no!
Oh boy, okay.
Uh-oh.
Hi, everyone. Hi, Marshmallow.
Hey, baby.
He was literally caught with his pants down in front of his customers. Or when Bob was tied under the pier with Mr. Fish Odor, his family didn't know where he was or that his life was in danger. But they knew something was wrong, so they all went around town looking for Bob. Teddy went with them to look for Bob and even went as far as strangling a waiter to get information.
Let me at him! Give me back my son!
I don't have to. What do you... Please, let me look at the toilet picture again.
And it's not just Bob, he's protective of the whole family. When he and the Belchers were attacked by a bunch of birds, Teddy volunteered to run out and find a way to help everybody. He came back with a tickle boat and saved everybody from getting eaten by birds or whatever. Pecked to death? I don't know. He saved them, that's the point. The point is, Teddy is like their bodyguard. If he believes they're in danger, he becomes the Hulk and no one is safe. Teddy cares a lot about Bob, and naturally he wants Bob to care just as much about him. Teddy is extremely loyal to Bob and Bob's Burgers. And the reason I think he's so devoted is because he wants the same loyalty and jealousy from Bob. Bob is already a loyal friend to Teddy, but he doesn't get jealous of Teddy having friends because he's a mature adult. However, Teddy hates how nonchalant Bob acts with their friendship. He doesn't want nonchalant. He wants that oh my darling's heart type of love. But Bob isn't going to do all that. There was an episode where Teddy had to work over at Jimmy Pesto's. He did try to hide it, rather poorly might I add.
I have this job this week that might keep me away from lunch here for a couple of days. Nothing weird.
Why are you yelling?
Was I?
You still are.
But when Bob found out, Teddy made a huge deal out of it and flipped out on them unprovoked.
You would have done the same thing, Bob.
I didn't say anything, Teddy.
Oh, okay, the silent treatment, huh? Real mature, Bob. Real mature. What am I supposed to do? Not take the job? I gotta work, Bob.
The next day, Teddy came back to eat at Bob's Burgers and was noticeably more awkward. He then starts up another unprovoked fight for literally no reason.
What are you trying to say?
I'm asking if anything's wrong.
You're saying that I get free fettuccine on the job at Pesto's? That I come here full of fettuccine? That doesn't make sense!
And even after Bob stressed to him how much he didn't care if he ate Jimmy Pesto's bad food, Teddy was still very worked up over it. He even went after Mort for simply existing.
I see. You and your inside jokes with Mort. Is that how it is now?
What are you talking about?
Oh, it's just a coincidence. The same week I do a job at Pesto's, all of a sudden, Mort comes in here and says something funny.
Linda convinced Bob to at least try and make up with Teddy even though he didn't do anything wrong, just to keep the peace. And just when Bob was going to suck it up and say sorry, Teddy dumps pasta on Mort's lap to try to frame him and get him kicked out of the restaurant. It was funny and very ridiculous.
What cup? It was Mort. Mort had it. Mort, grab your fettuccine. Put it back in your pockets. Leave.
I really...
Do
Teddy,
the first
stop.
honorable thing in your whole life.
He was really bullying Mort this episode. I feel so bad for the guy. He got yelled at 2 days in a row and got pasta dumped on his lap by a crazy jealous Teddy.
Mort's breaking the fettuccine rules, but I guess rules don't apply to Mr. Perfect Mort, so I'm leaving.
Okay, bye.
What'd you say, Bob?
I said bye.
Fine.
Bob was fed up by this point. He was sick of this entire situation being completely overblown by Teddy.
But I don't care.
I think he needs you to.
But I need him to not need me to, and also to be a normal person.
Bob tries to ignore Teddy, but he became increasingly more dramatic about this. He tried to apologize, but that backfired. So Linda suggested that he go over and make a fake scene pretending to care. He didn't want to do it at first, but he didn't need Teddy yelling and throwing pasta for the rest of their lives. So he went over and pretended to care, giving us the performance of a lifetime. This was his lip sync or die moment.
I knew it. That's why I was trying to hide it from you, Bob.
I'm jealous that you're spending all this time with Jimmy instead of with me.
Yeah, part of me said it'll be fine. Bob's not that petty.
Jimmy came outside to gloat about Teddy being taken away, but once Jimmy entered the conversation, Bob actually said something genuine about his friendship with Teddy.
He only goes to your restaurant because you pay him, Jimmy. He comes to my restaurant because he likes it. Plus, you'll never have what he and I have, which is a real friendship in your life.
And the funniest part of this whole thing was Trev being jealous of their bond.
I want what they have. What? Nothing?
Teddy ironically decided that this was too awkward for him and leaves. He was fought over and now he's fine. And my favorite part of this episode was Linda making fun of Bob for liking Teddy.
You love Teddy.
Linda, please.
You love him.
Oh my God.
You're gonna have all of his babies.
As insufferable as Teddy was in this episode, it just shows us that all Teddy wants is for someone to care enough about him to fight for him. And when you think about his life up until now, it makes total sense. His dad ignored him, his mom is self-centered, and his ex-wife did not fight to keep their marriage at all. Actually, she she fought against her own marriage. She didn't even like Teddy, let alone want to stay married to him. She just kept cheating until she found her favorite sneaky link, and then they ran off together. So Teddy went his whole life without being put first by anybody. He wants to be chosen by somebody. He wants to be important to somebody. He wants somebody, anybody, to fight for him. And to Teddy, he equates anger and jealousy to caring about somebody. Teddy has been taught his whole life that toxicity is love. His parents were constantly fighting, and even his marriage was full-on verbal abuse and cheating. So I'm saying all that to say that Teddy doesn't know what healthy relationships look like, and this episode is the result of that. Teddy desperately wants Bob to show that he cares. He wants Bob to be the Christina to his Meredith. He wants to be his person.
Wow, you chose me over your family.
That's not what happened, Teddy.
I'm honored, Bobby.
But the big thing that Teddy is missing is that Bob already cares about him. He shows it in his own way all the time. Just the fact that he was willing to pretend to be jealous is another way to show that he does care. He's just not dramatic about it. But because Teddy is so insecure, he needs the false reassurance that comes with jealousy. A lot of times people think that excessive jealousy means someone truly cares about you, but extreme jealousy is more closely related to somebody being possessive, not caring. Those are completely different things. But Teddy doesn't really know the difference, so we get this. Because Teddy cares so much about Bob's perception of him, he tends to overthink the simplest interactions between them. Bob can just be coming over to his house to grab something, and Teddy will make a big deal out of it.
You want to sit down and have something to drink?
Sorry,
Oh, yeah, no, you should go. You have a family to get home to. I'll stay here, listen to Sting with the cheese and the crackers I put out in anticipation of your visit. No big deal.
Teddy is so insecure in their friendship that he often tries too hard to connect to Bob. Even the smallest shift in Bob's mood can make Teddy spiral into overthinking mode. Teddy is very insecure and protective of their friendship, even to the point where he feels that Bob's own family gets in the way of it sometimes.
Don't you see what's happening? She started us against each other.
You are.
Oh, I am not. Teddy says that every day.
You witch.
Like I said, any small thing perceived as a negative emotion from Bob can cause Teddy to overreact. In the episode Spider House Rules, Bob joined a group chat of fellow dads at Wagstaff. When Bob joined in, he was immediately welcomed in and quickly made new friends. When Teddy heard about this, he was not thrilled about Bob having new friends.
Bob's on a group chat with people? Like friend people? That's great. That's nice, that's great.
Linda tries to explain to Teddy that Bob wants to make friends outside of his customers, because when you think about almost every friend he has, most of them have started off getting a burger from his place. There are a few exceptions, but most people are connected to his food. And then as they get food from him, they slowly start to get to know Bob over the years. Linda is usually the one making friends wherever she goes due to her extroverted personality. Anyways, when Teddy heard that Bob was trying to make friends that aren't customers, he tried to overcorrect by saying he will stop being a customer if it will save their friendship.
You want me to stop coming in here to eat? Is that what you want? I'll stop. If that's what it takes for our friendship, just make me like 200 burgers and I'll never step in here again, unless it's in disguise.
Even after Bob reassured to Teddy that they are friends, the thought of Bob doing this was already making Teddy anxious. So later that night, Teddy texted Bob saying that he won't be coming to the restaurant and will be instead making sandwiches at home. All because Bob wanted to make friends outside the restaurant. And at the end of the episode, we check back to hear that Teddy's plan to make sandwiches failed. He ended up hurting himself somehow. So he texted Bob that he'll be in tomorrow and was very dramatic about it.
It's just easier to hang out at the restaurant because that's where you work and it's where I eat. I know it's late, but I need you to text me back tonight, now, and send.
Bob didn't care, obviously, but this was a good example of Teddy feeling like his friendship was on the line simply because Bob wanted to meet new people.
Sounds good. Yes! We're back, baby!
There was also an episode where Teddy grew an entire mustache just because he felt like he needed to connect to Bob. When Teddy didn't come into the restaurant in 2 weeks, Linda was a bit concerned.
I hope he didn't join a cult.
I mean, it's amazing he's gone this long without joining one.
But when he finally showed up, he came with a mustache. He made a big show about it and constantly kept talking about his facial hair. Bob thought it was weird that Teddy would disappear for 2 whole weeks just to grow a mustache. Teddy was just happy to have something to bond over.
Well, now we're in this together, pal. Pretty soon we'll be trading mustache advice, keeping a mustache log that we only show each other.
But this backfired because Bob was getting so sick of the mustache talk. The whole day, all Teddy did was ask questions about facial hair, he talked about his expensive mustache kit, and in general, he just wouldn't shut up about it.
Okay, Teddy, let's have a mustache talk timeout.
Okay, but real quick, time in.
I called timeout.
Yeah, and I called time in. We each get 3.
What?
But even after Bob said he didn't want to talk about it anymore, Teddy kept bringing it up. Eventually, Bob snapped at him and told him that he was doing way too much. There were other things to talk about. That's when Teddy accused Bob of being jealous, and they started to have a fight.
There's a hot new mustache on the scene, and Bob can't stand it. Huh, Bob? You can't stand it, because I got one of these now.
That's ridiculous, Teddy.
No, is it?
Now, if you think the drama is over, then you don't know Teddy. Teddy is like Cardi B's new album. He is the drama. Teddy came back to the restaurant holding his own facial hair as a hostage.
I'm shaving off the mustache. It's a hairy curse. It's tearing us apart.
Teddy, stop. Don't do that. I mean, do it if you want, just not in our restaurant.
Bob and Linda didn't know what to do. They didn't know if they should stop him, but they didn't want to encourage him either. Teddy was doing a lot though.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Sorry about this, sir.
We're best friends. We're going through a thing.
Friends having mustache troubles, you know.
Teddy tells Bob that the only reason he grew the mustache in the first place was to bond with him. Apparently, 2 weeks ago, he told Bob that he wasn't a fan of the burger of the day. And afterwards, he felt that Bob was mad at him because Bob was quiet and didn't say much to him. So that spiraled into all of this. But it turns out that Bob was not mad that he didn't like the burger of the day. Bob didn't even hear him say it. Bob didn't remember this incident at all, which definitely tracks because Bob tends to tune Teddy out. Anyways, Bob still apologizes for getting annoyed, and Teddy decided that if Bob wasn't mad at him to begin with, then he didn't want his mustache. He didn't even like having one, so in the end, he decided not to keep it. Teddy's insecurities are something that drives him to do irrational things, like growing a mustache or making sandwiches. At the end of the day, this is just how Teddy is. Any hint that something isn't perfect and he would immediately try to change and fix the problem. Like we talked about earlier, Teddy is a fixer. He will fix whatever he thinks is wrong with himself in order to make the friendship work, but most of the time, it's completely unnecessary. Bob didn't ask him to do any of that. He just wants Teddy to be normal and not do this. Holding your own mustache hostage is wild behavior, and that just confuses Bob. How do you respond to something like that? All Bob can do is apologize and try to defuse the situation, and it's usually up to Bob to calm the situation down before Teddy finds a new level to take it there. Anyways, Teddy is just a lot. He does a lot of good, but he also is very annoying and dramatic. His need to feel loved, needed, and validated are what drives his relationship with Bob. And Bob didn't really ask for any of that. Teddy is ultimately a customer who got overly attached to him and shows up every day to win his affections. It's like when I'm playing my farming games, I'm just going to the villagers' house every day to throw gifts at them until they like me. I'm literally camped outside their house after I do my farm work and boom, present in their face. That's exactly what Teddy is doing. It's fine in the video games because that's literally the mechanics, but in real life, it can be a bit creepy and overwhelming. The point is, Teddy is a mixed bag when it comes to Bob. Sometimes he could be a big help, and other times he can be doing the most. Either way, it's just how Teddy is. But now, let's talk about Bob's side of this friendship and his role in the dynamic between them. Teddy's feelings about Bob are very intense. That can be a lot for anybody, but for an introverted guy like Bob, it's his worst nightmare. He just wants Teddy to be normal and calm, but it's like asking Agnes Crumplebottom on a date. It's not going to happen. Bob's complaints about Teddy are standard things that we've been talking about, his endless conversation topics and inability to be quiet.
Gene, I need you behind the counter. Just stand here and I'll be right back.
I'm not sure I appreciate being foisted off like this, Bob.
His explosive temper, and of course, his tendency to do too much.
Right, Bob? Right? I don't gotta worry about you, right? You're not gonna tell anyone, right? Just keep it to yourself, okay?
I won't tell anybody.
Just I know how you get.
Teddy is needy, invasive, and just plain annoying to Bob sometimes. And because of this, Bob is sometimes reluctant to hang out with him. And honestly, it's justified. When Teddy wanted Bob to go to his Halloween party, Bob didn't really want to go, but he was sucked into going anyways.
Hooray! You can come to my party!
Oh, right. Great.
Yay!
And when he got there, Teddy already started annoying Bob by hassling him for not wearing a costume. This led to a series of events where Bob puts on the costume, squishes Teddy's pet, and had to stay while Teddy crashed out on everyone at the party. Teddy had a right to be upset, but he was doing a lot.
Ma'am, I'm speaking now. I let you speak, now let me speak. You don't tell me when to call 911!
He held everyone hostage so he could figure out who killed Francis. Poor Mort came in the middle of this drama.
Sorry I'm late. Whoa, who died?
Eventually, Bob owned up to his mistake and apologized for Teddy. All this craziness could have been avoided if he never went to Teddy's in the first place. Every time he does one of Teddy's activities, he ends up in a crazy situation.
You brought gloves though, right?
No.
No?
No.
Did I not say this? I told you to bring a ski mask. I told you to bring gloves, no?
You definitely
I definitely didn't say that?
Oh my god.
And even times when Teddy goes out of his way for Bob, it can be a bigger inconvenience than necessary. Like when Teddy gave him a chicken for free.
We could all have breakfast together every Sunday, huh?
Probably not.
No.
Sleep on it. We'll circle back when you're feeling a little more grateful about this chicken I gave you out of the goodness of my heart.
However, Bob didn't want a chicken in the first place, and the rest of the episode is just them trying to get the chicken to lay an egg. So while it was a nice gesture, it ended up being more trouble than what it was worth. We also went over this earlier, but Bob does rely on Teddy a lot when it comes to business connection. Teddy's like the first person Bob calls. I talked about some of these things earlier, but I'll expand a bit more of how much Bob relies on Teddy. In the Christmas in the Car episode, Bob was stuck on the side of the road with his family during Christmas Eve. However, the main problem was that he had a ham in the oven that was in danger of drying out.
We don't have time. I have a ham in the oven, remember?
Just fart, Dad. It's okay.
Tina, stop.
So Bob called Teddy and asked him to drive over to his house on Christmas Eve and turn off his oven for him. Teddy at first didn't understand exactly what Bob was asking him to do.
Let me get a pen.
You don't need a pen, Teddy. You just need to turn the knob to off.
Turn the knob to? Go.
Off.
Off. Okay. O-F.
Oh my god.
Eventually, he did get it and successfully turned off the oven.
Oh, it's just a dial. Why did Bob make it so complicated?
But because Teddy was snooping in their fridge, he was caught in one of Louise's traps for Santa.
Oh, what's going on? Ah! Ah! Oh, man! Ah! Ah! Ooh, pickles.
Teddy ended up staying on their kitchen floor all night, waiting for them to come home.
That's a dumb place to keep bowls.
Poor guy even had the entire fridge fall on him. Eventually they did come to save him, but Teddy went through a whole ordeal just because he went there to turn off his oven. There was also a time where Bob forgot to order carnations for Tina's Valentine thing. He went around town trying to find flowers, but he had very little luck.
I'm dying and I'm trying to order my favorite flowers for my funeral, which will be on Valentine's Day. They need to be carnations. Wait, don't hang up. I'm dying.
Thankfully, Teddy's cousin used to drive forklifts at the flower market, so he suggested for Bob to go there. However, the flower market is only open from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m., so he needed to wait until then. Teddy even offered to take him.
I'll pick you up at 2.
Wait, you're coming?
I wasn't gonna sleep tonight anyway. I can never sleep on Valentine's Eve.
They go to the flower shop, but because Bob didn't have a license, Bob had to grease one of the florists.
250 carnations! Put $20 in my hand and follow me.
Yeah, okay.
Here, follow me.
Bob did end up getting flowers, but because of Teddy's big mouth, they overcharged Bob like crazy.
He'll pay anything. He's desperate.
Teddy, please.
It's for his daughter. You can charge him whatever you want. Wow, that was more than I expected. Kind of raked you over the coals, huh, Bob?
Teddy was a big help during this episode. Without him, Bob wouldn't have been able to get Tina's flowers at all. But he did mess things up for him at the end. But then again, Bob wouldn't have been in that position if he would have just remembered to buy the flowers in the first place. So you see why I say Teddy can be annoying even when he's helpful. Or one of my favorite examples is when Louisa's family messed up her Coochie Copy doll. They felt horrible for messing up her favorite toy. Luckily, Teddy called them because his cable was out and he wanted to watch the hockey game. But when Teddy heard about the situation, he offered to come over with his heat gun to try and mold her toy back together. Teddy tries to fix it, but he couldn't put it back to its original form.
Done.
Huh, you gave him boobs.
Boobs? Those are his arms.
So Teddy suggested to go see his toy guy. Even though it's late, the toy guy does open up for toy-related emergencies. And yes, there are such things as toy-related emergencies. Teddy once had to have a certain toy from his childhood, and Clyde was the angel that got it for him in the middle of the night. Not sure what toy he was talking about, but it made a really weird noise.
Nobody?
No.
No one knows?
Sorry.
Stop saying that!
They went to the About a Toy shop and met with Clyde. Clyde was willing to help them out and just assumed that they knew about the lore of Coochie Copy, which Bob did not, and Clyde was not happy about that.
Can I talk to you in private, Teddy?
Sure, what's up?
What are you bringing in here?
No, he's
what
okay.
Are you bringing in here?
No, he does.
That doesn't, you know the
he's
books.
okay. The books, Bobby. He's talking about the books. You know the books.
Clyde was really serious about that lore, so Clyde made them sit down and listen to him read the story of Coochie Kopi. It was a non-negotiable.
Also, I could just read them at home myself.
You won't do the voices right. Sit down.
Okay.
Even if it was weird, Bob and Teddy ended up loving Coochie Kopi's story. They had fun learning the lore from Clyde, and they may have left as fans.
Wow, I had no idea how great Coochie Kopi is.
He's amazing.
It's so cool how he's like a spirit that can be different things to different people.
Like Tom Brady.
So once again, Teddy saved the day by having a connection for Bob to use. Because Teddy leads such an unorthodox life, he meets a lot of interesting people. Interesting people like Clyde, who has people knocking down his door late at night for specialty toys. And I know how specialty toys sound, okay? Just shut up. Just shut up. I didn't know what else to say, okay? I don't know how to phrase that. You know what I mean. Shut up. Anyways, Bob also goes to Teddy with other requests too. Like when Linda was missing on her birthday, Teddy drove them all around town to look for her. Or when Bob needed money to bail Linda out of jail, Teddy was the one who loaned them the money.
Wanna give me the $2 change now, or just owe me the whole 20?
I'll owe you 20, Teddy. I'm so sorry. We're in a big rush.
I can't believe Linda got a ticket, and you won't tell me what it's for.
But to be honest, he was very annoying about it. He wanted to know why Linda got arrested, even though Bob was trying to keep it a secret. So it's another example of Teddy going out his way to help, but also being so annoying in the process. Still, Teddy will always at least try to come to Bob's rescue, even if it means putting his own needs last. The point is, Bob does rely on Teddy whenever he's in crisis or when he needs a connection. And as the series goes on, Bob relies more on Teddy as a friend. And over time, Bob became a reliable person for Teddy to call on as well. One of the last things I want to talk about between them is how Bob views Teddy as a person. You see, Bob viewed Teddy as a very sad and lonely guy, which in a sense he isn't wrong.
Tell him about my security sock. It's my ex-wife's sock. I sleep with it on my hand.
Oh, Teddy.
Yikes.
Teddy had a reputation in the show for being desperate for any kind of love or basic connection.
I'll do the grabbing. I haven't held a living thing for a while. It'll be good for me.
But as we talked about earlier, Teddy has a lot of friends around town. We just went over 2 episodes where he knew people who could help Bob. So while Bob has this perception of Teddy having no one in his life, it's just simply not the case. And nothing showed that more than the episode Driving Big Dummy. In this episode, Bob is excited to buy a newish sink for the restaurant. The problem is he had no way of transporting the sink in his car. Once Teddy heard the problem, he had a solution. Coincidentally, he was going to the same town as Bob that day because he was doing a job for Mr. Fisholder. So he offered to carpool with Bob and use his truck to haul the sink back after he dropped off the big dummy head.
We can catch up. Talk. I haven't seen you since yesterday.
Oh, Teddy, that's so nice of you, but I'm good.
Bob politely said no, which confused everyone. This was literally the perfect solution to Bob's problems. Bob pulled Linda to the back to talk privately about the real reason he didn't want to go with Teddy. Simply put, he didn't want to have to spend 2 hours in the car with Teddy, mostly because he talks too much. Linda convinced him to go anyways, saying that Teddy could use the company because he's a lonely guy. Bob reluctantly agreed, and Teddy was over the moon about it.
You and Bob are hitting the road together.
We are?
Yep.
Yes, yes, yes. Oh, this is gonna be great, Bob.
Bob wanted to go there and come back as fast as possible, but Linda and the kids encouraged him to take his time.
See you all very, very soon, I hope.
Bye, everyone. Don't worry. I'll bring them back in one piece.
They barely left town, and Teddy was already getting on his nerves. His truck had a bunch of Tupperware scattered on the floor, and Teddy kept accusing Bob.
If you need to fart like you just did, just tell me. I'll pull over and you can get out.
I didn't fart.
There's no reason we both have to suffer, right?
Teddy, I did not fart.
And Teddy, as expected, wanted to have deep conversations with Bob.
What do you want to talk about? Sports? Deep stuff? Love? Heartbreak?
No.
New beginnings? Favorite tools?
And Bob had to hold Teddy's window when they were going over 50. Bob just got in the car and he was already suffering.
It all started when I was a kid. I lost one of my socks, but that was just the beginning.
Oh my God.
Whoops, that one was me.
Bob was annoyed with Teddy's long rambles, but he tried to remember that this was supposed to be a fun boy ride for Teddy, so he tried to at least act like he wanted to be there. Teddy stopped to get some gas station hot dogs for lunch. Apparently he knew a place that made the best hot dogs around. Bob wasn't thrilled, but he just went with it. And this is the first place where Bob realizes that Teddy doesn't just eat here, he knows these people.
You know the people who work here?
Of course. Shh. Trust me, you do not want to get kindled.
Lucky for Teddy, his pal Phil was working that day. While Teddy was making polite conversation, Bob was eager to start heading back on the road. But Teddy wasn't taking the hint, just told Bob a little more about Phil.
So, what do we owe you for the hot dogs?
New nugget, Phil?
Yep, good eye.
Phil likes to pan for gold and hang out in Mother Nature, but Bob couldn't care less. He just wanted to leave. They were back on the road for like 2 minutes before Teddy had to make another stop. He knew a store with the cleanest bathrooms for miles around, so he stopped there for a minute after hitting a curb.
You sure you don't need to go?
No.
No, you're not sure, or no, you don't have to go?
I don't have to go.
Okay, relax. Can I borrow a couple of bucks?
Bob was annoyed by how long it was taking Teddy and went to go check on him. He was even more annoyed to find that Teddy was talking to the cashier and hasn't even gone to the bathroom yet. Teddy introduced Bob to Bonnie, who happened to own the place.
Bob, Bonnie, Bob.
Hello.
Hi.
Bonnie owns the place. That's your new tow truck. Pretty sweet, huh? See the boom on that thing? Give me a break with that winch.
When Teddy went to the bathroom, there was an awkward silence between Bonnie and Bob. Bob tries to leave, but Teddy tries to get the conversation going between them.
I just go wait in the...
Bob's a small business owner, too. You guys can talk about that.
Oh, really?
No, Teddy, don't do that. Don't call through the bathroom door.
Bob quickly made his exit after this introverted nightmare, while Teddy just asked Bonnie what's the weirdest thing she ever told before. Eventually, Bob was able to get his sink, and the exchange was over very quickly.
See, Teddy? That's how you run an errand. No small talk, no fuss, just a clean, efficient exchange.
Unlucky for Bob, a friend of Teddy's came to talk to him.
Bob, Jerry, Bob. Jerry here has an antique store not too far from here. I built him some shelves a while ago.
Teddy and Jerry engaged in some small talk and joke around. They got on the subject of Jerry playing the lute, and Teddy wanted to hear him play. Jerry invites them to watch his first metal band practice.
Called Iron Prostate. The singer is a urologist.
No.
Yes to all of that.
Even though Bob did not want to at all, Teddy convinced him to at least watch the practice. At least for a little bit. Bob suffered through it, and then they were back on the road. Now all Teddy has to do is drop off the giant dummy head and make one more tiny stop to drop off the Tupperware. Even though it took twice as long to get there as they should, Teddy finally arrived at his client's house and dropped off the dishes. Teddy promised to make it quick, even though everything inside of him wanted to talk to the guy about the cornbread he made him.
No chit chat, even though he was very excited about this cornbread. And it's the only time I've been paid in cornbread. And I have a lot of questions about the cornbread, but it's okay. I'll follow up with him later.
The guy ended up not being home, so Teddy brought back the Tupperware and wanted to wait for a little bit to see if he shows up. Bob didn't want to do that and just wanted to go home with his sink. Bob wanted to just leave the Tupperware there, but Teddy didn't want to do that.
Leave it at the door? Are you crazy? Someone might steal it.
No one's gonna steal Tupperware.
Teddy decided to just bring it back some other time. He then just had one more request for Bob to get out and help him turn the truck around. Bob was annoyed, but he gets out to help him turn the truck. But as usual, Teddy makes everything as difficult as they can possibly be. Even though Bob gave very clear instructions, Teddy did the exact opposite and ended up getting his truck stuck and dropping the giant dummy head. Teddy then blamed Bob for not showing him the way he told him to. Which Bob was, by the way, but Teddy was being obtuse. Anyways, Bob started to lose his temper and said he shouldn't even have come on this trip and instead went by himself. And when Teddy sarcastically asks why didn't he do that then, Bob blurts out the truth.
Because I felt sorry for you, okay?
What?
This isn't a boy ride, Teddy. I'm your pity passenger. What's all the ruckus? Ah!
When the neighbor got scared of the giant dummy head and went to see what was going on, Teddy apologized for dropping the dummy on his lawn. This was the guy who he was returning Tupperware to.
This is Bob, who I thought was my friend, but I guess he's just my pity passenger.
I thought I was your friend, Teddy, but friends don't hold friends hostage in their truck while they talk to every single person at every single exit.
Teddy called a tow, and his friend Bonnie came out to help him. He thanked Bonnie for the help, and he says this is probably the weirdest thing she's ever towed. But she said the mobile tattoo shop was still the weirdest thing she's ever towed. When she showed him her Pac-Man tattoo, Teddy asked if there was a story there. Bob was annoyed, but it turns out that she used to play the game with her brother a lot. Bonnie then makes a comment about how Teddy is always asking people about themselves.
Teddy fixed the porch for me. He wasn't here half the day and he got me talking about my late wife's cornbread recipe. How was it, by the way?
It was really something.
I ran out of corn.
That explains it.
Seeing these people talk about Teddy so positively started to make Bob recontextualize what happened today. He thought that Teddy was just wasting time talking to people today, because that's how Bob views social interactions. However, Teddy wasn't wasting time. He was maintaining his connections and talking to his friends. Sure, it was inconvenient for Bob, but for Teddy, he was catching up with his friends about their lives. Most of the people he introduced to Bob that day were small business owners themselves. They ran gas stations, antique shops, made good hot dogs. While most people would just get in and get out, Teddy took the time to get to know them as people and listen to their life stories. He's genuinely interested in people and their lives, which is something that Bob couldn't relate to. So while Bob saw it as a wasted day, Teddy saw it as an adventure and a chance to introduce Bob to some of his other friends around the area, which is good for a guy like Bob who doesn't have a ton of close friends. Bob kind of considers his family to be all the friends he needs.
Honestly, you guys are the only people I really like to hang out with. Don't tell Teddy I said that.
So we're your only friends, which is not sad at all.
But even though that's very sweet of him to think, as a business owner, it's good to know people, especially other small businesses who can help you out. You never know when you can use that connection or just have a friend that you know in the area to chat with. And in this episode, Bob realizes the value of Teddy's talkative personality. Even though Bob saw it as a burden, other people may like that Teddy is constantly talking and asking them about themselves. It's just Teddy's way of showing that he cares about them, being an active listener and a very attentive person. Anyways, Bob steps up to Teddy and in a way apologizes for assuming that Teddy is a lonely guy when Teddy isn't lonely at all.
You make friends wherever you go, and you're so interested in people all the time. I'm never interested in people. I don't like people, but I don't really like that about myself, and I guess I really admire that about you.
Bob expressed that he admires that about Teddy and doesn't really like that he himself is not a people person. Teddy tells Bob that in his own way he's like that, only towards people he already knows. Teddy just suggested that he could branch out a bit, and Bob replied saying he would try. And on the way back, Teddy asked Bob if he wanted to try the best beef jerky he ever had, and Bob actually agrees to it this time.
Now the guy who runs this place, real character, he has a hook for a head. Don't stare at it, okay?
Okay.
Just kidding, he loves to talk about it. He used to juggle chainsaws, but that's not how he lost his hand.
What? Really?
And that's the end of the episode. This episode is a great episode for these two. Not only does it show their differences, but it also shows us how Bob's perception of Teddy is only one perspective. Bob's Burgers is a show told from the perspective of the Belchers, so while we see Teddy all the time, we only see his character in the context of the Belcher family. Teddy has a whole life outside of them that we don't get to see. We don't get to follow Teddy at work or spend the day with him or see him on dates with Kathleen. We only learn about Teddy when the Belchers learn about him. So while Bob's perception of him is a sad guy who hangs around Bob because that's his only friend, that doesn't necessarily make it all the way true. We've seen how in the Amazing Rudy episode, how following one character's perspective can change how we view that character. And while we don't have that exact format for Teddy, this episode is the closest we get to seeing what Teddy does when he's not around Bob and his family. He's chatting with people, he's listening to garage bands, he's getting paid in cornbread, and he's doing jobs in a neighborhood that we've never seen before. We get a new, more positive side of Teddy than what we're used to seeing. And that's not to say that Bob was completely wrong for being annoyed at Teddy. I get Bob's point of view. I'm a very introverted person who barely likes going out. But I have very extroverted family members and I admire their ability to make friends wherever they go. My mom is very extroverted and makes friends literally wherever she goes. And so is my grandma. My grandma tends to be the life of the party and people love her. Whereas I'm a little more socially awkward with new people and don't exactly know what to say outside of pleasantries. I overthink conversations and feel the awkwardness as it's happening, which might be hard to believe considering I do YouTube, but when you think about it, I'm talking to a microphone by myself. I see the number of people who watch my videos, but I don't actually physically see them. If I did have to physically stand up in front of all of you guys and read the same damn script, I would be a nervous wreck. So even as a YouTuber who was raised by multiple extroverted women, I'm very introverted. So I can relate hard to Bob in this situation. I don't really like people that much or small talk. I like to keep a small circle of friends that I'm comfortable with. This episode is literally just me and my grandma running errands. I want to get in and out without having a whole conversation with the staff. But in that same time period, she has made like 3 new friends in the same amount of time. And don't let my grandma be a regular at the place we're going. They'll have her order ready at the door. So even if I can relate to Bob and how he feels about trying to run errands while the other person is trying to talk, and you just want to get on with your day and just go home, I still think that there is a lot of merit in being the type of person who is a social butterfly. Someone who can make conversations and just has a likable energy about them. I may not relate to that, I have RBF, but I admire people who can do that effortlessly. And even though Bob may have been annoyed at Teddy, in the end, he was able to see Teddy through his friend's eyes, as a guy who's friendly, an active listener, and will remember the small details about you, and ultimately someone who is naturally a good friend. Plus, Teddy is just better with other business people than Bob is.
I want them fixed.
Bobby, I installed him. Let me talk to him. Hi, this is Teddy, Bob's handyman and best friend. I know, he can get a little hot. Mediterranean blood, you know?
I'm not Mediterranean.
Bob learned in this episode that it's good to have more extroverted friends like Teddy. Teddy knows all the best places to go. He knows the coolest people, and he finds new small businesses to support all the time. Teddy brings people out of their shell, and with him, it's always an adventure. So while Bob may be very different to Teddy, there is one thing that's important to point out. Bob, in his own way, cares very much about Teddy. He may not be as smothering as Teddy, but Bob still is Teddy's best friend, and Teddy, by default, is Bob's best friend, if you don't count Linda. Bob shows he cares in much more subtle ways than Teddy does. The first episode to show how much Bob truly cares was the episode Friends with Burger Fits. The episode starts with Teddy coming in from the doctor's office, and while he plays it off as normal, the doctor did have some concerns for Teddy's health.
Doctor stuff, you know, your cholesterol's off the charts. You absolutely must change your eating habits or you will die. Anyway, 1 cheeseburger and fries, please.
Bob was concerned over this and suggested for Teddy to be at least a little more concerned, but Teddy was stubborn as always.
You sure you want to ignore your doctor, Teddy?
I'm not ignoring him, I'm just not listening to him.
Bob then had a bad dream about his role in the situation. Him serving Teddy these burgers made him feel directly responsible for his poor health, and this is why he feels like he's the one killing Teddy.
Why, you gonna kill Teddy? All right. Car's gassed up, that's good. Guess I could homeschool the kids.
No, Lynn, the burgers are killing him.
What?
The ones I give him every day.
Bob decided to take matters into his own hands and serve him a veggie burger secretly. Teddy noticed right away and said that it tasted funny, but once he found out it was a veggie burger, he spit it out immediately. Bob tells him that he can't in good conscience serve him a burger every day. Teddy then deflects to Mort and questioned why Bob wasn't making Mort eat veggie burgers, because he also eats burgers every day. But Mort corrects him, saying that he also orders soup sometimes.
What? You do? Soup?
Take it easy, Teddy.
Even Mike the mailman was surprised by how many burgers he eats. Bob then cut Teddy off from his burgers, and Teddy did not take that well at all.
If you take your burgers from me, I will murder you and your mouthy wife.
What?
Huh? I'm sorry. I don't know what I'm saying. I'll kill you. Give me a burger.
Poor Teddy was distressed. We all know how he hates any disruption to his routines, and not eating Bob's burgers is a big change. Bob agrees to go jogging with Teddy early in the morning to prove that Teddy is healthy enough to eat his burgers. When Linda said that it was sweet that he's helping his best friend, Bob disagrees with the idea that Teddy is his best friend.
Teddy's not my best friend.
Teddy thinks you're best friends.
He does?
Sure.
Yep.
Bob clarifies that Teddy is his best customer, not his best friend. While on a jog, Teddy tries to convince Bob he's healthy, but Bob isn't convinced at all. They stumble across a stuntman boot camp, and Bob makes a comment about it being cool. Later on, we see Teddy walk in a restaurant with a suspicious suitcase after Bob just sold one to a different customer. When Bob went to go see what he was doing, it was clear that he was eating a burger in the restroom.
Teddy, stop eating.
You don't know how hard this is for me. I paid that guy $300 to buy me this burger.
The fact that Teddy paid $300 for one burger is insane. At least get a few burgers for later, damn. Anyways, Bob tells him that he owes it to himself to try and be healthy. Teddy then says to Bob that the only reason he's helping him is because he feels guilty. And Bob finally admits that he's helping him because he's his friend. But Linda starts to go overboard and say they're best friends.
You're my friend.
You're best friends.
I didn't say...
Besties.
Linda.
Really, Bob? We're best friends?
I mean...
Best friends till the very end.
Lynn.
Teddy was overjoyed with the confirmation, and in true Teddy fashion, he goes overboard with it. Not only does he start staying over late at Bob's house, but he also signed them up for the stuntman boot camp that they saw earlier. Not only did he sign them up for an intense weekend of the boot camp, they're also roommating for the weekend. Bob was reluctant to go. He didn't want to do any of that, but he decided to just go since Teddy already booked and paid for it. And then he thanked Teddy for going out of his way.
It's nothing. Well, not nothing. I won't have electricity for 3 months. But yay!
Teddy was already annoying him on a drive to the stunt boot camp, and once they got there, it only got worse. Bob got pushed down the stairs by the instructors.
Wait, have you done any of your morning melees in the park?
No.
Oh, well then you could really get hurt.
He got tackled through fake glass by Teddy, and on top of that, he was up all night being kept up by Teddy snoring. He was having a rough time. The next day, Bob struggled through the exercise. When the guys confronted Bob about acting like he didn't want to be there, Bob tells the truth, telling them that yeah, he did not want to be there. He's just there because he felt guilty for Teddy's poor health.
He's really my best customer, because all he does is shove burgers in his mouth, but he's not my best friend.
Oh.
Of course, Teddy overhears this and is deeply hurt by what he said. He was even tearing up a little bit. Obviously, they leave the retreat and Teddy confronts him about lying to him about being his best friend. And Bob tells him that he lied because he cared about him. Teddy couldn't stomach being in a car with him and tells him to pull over. He gets out at Dusty's feed bag and declares that he's now a regular there instead.
And one more thing. 3 years ago, you forgot a tomato on my burger, and I said nothing. Nothing!
Bob went home and caught Mike and Mort stealing free ice cream. He was annoyed, but he let it slide. They asked about Teddy and he told them where he was. They were immediately alarmed because of what that restaurant serves. They serve this 5-pound burger and they challenge their customers to eat it in less than 30 minutes. If you do, you get it for free and you get your picture up. If you guys ever did a challenge like that, feel free to tell me your experience in the comments. I could never do that, but I'm fascinated by people who could eat a lot in one sitting. Anyways, Bob goes back to Teddy to prevent him from doing this challenge. Bob makes it back in time as Teddy was going to be served this 5-pound burger. He tells Teddy not to eat it, but Teddy's still mad at Bob, so he just ignores him. So Bob goes over Teddy's head and tells the manager not to serve it to Teddy due to his medical condition.
He has the biggest heart of anyone I know, both because he's incredibly sweet, but also because it's full of cholesterol, which is why you can't serve him that huge burger. He might not survive it.
Kevin did not care at all and was going to serve him anyway. This led to a physical altercation between these two.
I'm gonna get to throw Fat Burt Reynolds out of my restaurant.
Oh yeah? Well, I can get tough too, and I'm staying.
Guys, come on, don't fight over me. Wait, is that what's happening?
Bob ended up being thrown out of the window of the restaurant. Like, geez, the door was right there, saying that it was the nicest thing anyone's ever did for him. He then helps Bob up to bring him home.
Let's go to the hospital, Teddy.
No, Bob, let's go home.
No, we're gonna go to a hospital.
Home it is, Bob.
Teddy thanks Bob for what he did, even though they aren't really best friends. But Bob apologizes and tells Teddy that he is his best friend.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you define it. You technically are my best friend, but I mean, I might meet...
Stop right there, Bobby.
Teddy carries him over the threshold and they live happily ever after in bromance. Thus ends the episode, specifically with Teddy rubbing Bob's feet. This is a good episode to start with because it's the episode where Bob first acknowledges Teddy as his friend. Before he was just a customer, but after season 5 he was officially more than that. He was his friend. After this episode, Bob was officially Teddy's best friend, and even though he's not as over the top about it as Teddy is, he shows this in his own way. Let's bring back Glenn the handyman incident. Teddy was begging Bob to let him decorate his shop for Halloween. He hated Glenn and wanted to out-decorate him.
Pretend hire me, right? So I can shove it right in Glenn's stupid, nice-smelling, stupid face, right? How's that smell, Glenn? He's just so damn competent. I just want to step on his neck a little bit, you know?
At first, Bob wasn't into the idea, but he let him do it anyways. Glenn and Teddy were arguing and competing very loudly outside. Bob found it annoying, but again, he just let him do it. Bob stayed out of it for the most part while they went back and forth. He helped Teddy out a bit and just gossiped about Teddy's hate for Glenn.
You think he's handsome?
You don't?
I don't know. I mean, he's not really my type. He's got a good body, though.
Are you kidding? He has a great body.
Yeah, but without the body, you wouldn't say he's handsome.
I would.
But once Glenn upstaged Teddy for like the 3rd time, Teddy was on the verge of quitting and just letting Glenn win. But seeing Teddy potentially lose to Glenn made Bob step up and get involved. He told Glenn that Teddy was not giving up and they had big plans for the end of the night.
He has big plans still, Glenn.
It's like 8:30.
We know it's late, okay? Glenn, ever heard of a grand finale? I didn't think so.
I've heard of a grand finale.
Well, you're about to hear of one. More.
And Bob was committed to taking Glenn down. He dressed up with Teddy and helped him set up the grand finale.
Yeah, he's bad news, Len, and he's going down. He thought it was Glory Days, but it's about to be Thunder Road.
I don't get it. Is that a line from Rambo?
But when they turned on their makeshift Halloween spider, it went haywire and ended up destroying everything, both their hard work and Glenn's hard work too. It turns out that Glenn was only doing this to impress Teddy, because Teddy was the handyman of Seymour's Bay. He wanted to show him up and earn his respect. And just like Teddy, he paid for the decorations out of his own pocket. They talked it out, and Glenn even told Teddy how much he liked his work. Then Teddy proceeded to throw Bob under the bus and blame everything on him.
That was Bob's idea. You know how it goes? You get hired for a job and then you gotta do whatever the guy says, huh?
What?
Yeah, right.
But anyways, this episode is one of those that stood out to me because he didn't really care about Teddy's drama, but once he felt Teddy was being put down by Glenn, he jumped to his defense and tried to help him beat Glenn. It shows a more protective side of Bob that we normally don't get. Bob can make fun of Teddy sometimes, but who's Glenn to do that? And even though the ending was wholesome, this episode shows that Bob will defend his friend if he feels like someone is trying to make him feel small. Not only does Bob protect Teddy from others, but he also tries to protect Teddy from himself. Teddy isn't the best decision maker and has a bad habit of self-sabotage. We talked about both of these episodes already in part 1, but I will briefly mention them again. In the See Me Now episode, Teddy was hell-bent on winning back his ex Denise, which is a horrible idea obviously. Bob tries to gently steer him away from the idea, but Teddy was being stubborn.
Is this whole day all about Denise? Maybe you shouldn't try and impress her?
Impress her? Denise? What? Huh? That's crazy.
Towards the end of the episode, Bob was fed up with Teddy trying to win her back and gave him some tough love.
You don't have to let Denise know you're doing all right. You can just do all right. And you are all right? If you would just stop it.
Okay.
Eventually, Teddy listened to his advice and decided to forget Denise and start fresh. It was thanks to the Belchers that he was able to take this big step towards healing. And because of this episode, he was able to start dating again and eventually met his girlfriend Kathleen. But due to his own superstition, there was an episode where Teddy almost broke up with his girlfriend. Why? Well, because he believed he was destined to have bad luck and he didn't want to make her suffer that bad luck with him. So he was going to break up with her to prevent that. Bob was absolutely not going to let that happen and went as far as wrestling the phone out of his hands and deleting the voicemail he was trying to leave her himself. They got into a fight over it, but eventually he was able to reason with Teddy. And thanks to Bob, Teddy didn't break up with the best girlfriend he's ever had. Bob shows that he cares in his own way by letting him star in his family commercial, by letting him keep the spare key. He invites him over for Thanksgiving multiple times, or when they leave him spare burgers in the fridge for him to eat later, or even just wanting to cake with him.
Keep your hands up.
I don't like it. I don't like this.
Keep them up.
Just stop. Just stop, Bob. I don't like it.
Don't lower your hands, Teddy.
He may not be listing reasons why he loves Teddy or wants to spend all his time with Teddy, but he's still his friend.
As crazy as it sounds, I could go for a jalapeno burger right now.
Hey, for you, coming right up.
All right.
Bob balances a lot of Teddy's negative traits. These two see things differently and usually do not agree, but they bring value to each other's lives. While Teddy believes in curses and superstition, Bob on the other hand tries to introduce logic to the situation and keep him from being dumb. And while Bob is introverted and has a hard time making connections, Teddy is a chatterbox who has a lot of friends around town. He usually knows a guy who knows a guy, which brings value to Bob's business. Teddy may be odd.
Hey, Bob, I made this guy say yes with my body.
Great.
Enjoy yourself, sir?
Yeah, this is all right.
But he's a loyal, dependable friend. Bob doesn't have a lot of people in his life who he can say that about, but he can say that about Teddy. Teddy in the Bob's Burgers fandom can be a rather polarizing character. Teddy has a lot of good traits and a lot of flaws. He's a rather complex character with a lot of nuance. He has a lot of layers of trauma and abandonment issues, mixed with family issues and a mountain of insecurity. People have a lot of valid reasons to get annoyed with Teddy. Teddy has a habit of copying other people's lives or trying to transform himself in order to replicate the happiness he thinks other people have in their lives, or himself. Whether it's copying his ex-wife's boyfriend, growing a mustache to bond with Bob, or self-inserting himself into Bob's life, he's always trying to live other people's lives because he's so miserable in his own life. And once he lets go of all these perfect images of other people's lives and lets go of all those false expectations, he'd be much happier in his own life. Once Teddy becomes more comfortable in himself and comfortable in his own company, he won't be so envious of everybody else around him. However, even though he has those flaws, he also has good parts of his character as well. He's friendly, he supports small businesses, he's everyone's biggest cheerleader, he's reliable, he's kind-hearted. Teddy always tries to give someone the benefit of the doubt, even when they may not deserve it. He's almost too forgiving, and he's always down for a scheme or two. Teddy also knows that he has a lot of issues to work through. He's been constantly seeing a therapist since season 1, and I like to think that him seeing her has been a big reason on why he's gotten so much better, even though he can be rather protective of her.
And my therapist would say that you should focus on your own happiness and not compare it to other people's.
Your therapist is an idiot.
You take that back, Bob. Do not speak of Dr. Marjorie that way. That woman has put up with so much in her life.
For better or for worse, Teddy loves with all of his heart. And even though he often does way too much, at least you know he'll always be there for you. Teddy has gone through a lot of character development throughout the series. He has a more sympathetic character now than he did in the early seasons, In the early seasons, Teddy was just a punchline. He was akin to characters like Tuttle or Bill or Klaus, sad guys whose entire character is how lonely they are. But Teddy did something that most of those characters of that archetype doesn't get to do. He grows out of it and is happy. Sure, Teddy is still Teddy, misfortune is going to follow him, but he's way more secure in himself than he used to be. He's calmer, he's in a relationship, and he's finally taken time for himself instead of spending all of his free time at Bob's Burgers. These newer seasons feels like Teddy finally has a life of his own outside of the Belcher family. He's not as attached to the hip as he used to be, and ironically, the more independent Teddy has become, the more part of the family he truly feels. He's getting along better with Mort like he used to. Teddy is out of his mean girl era, and now they actually feel like friends again. Teddy has been through a lot in this show. A lot of anger, a lot of sadness, a lot of breakthroughs, a lot of burgers. And I'm glad to say that Teddy has only gotten better as the show went on. Teddy is a lot more than Bob's best customer. He's not only the 6th member of the Belcher family, well 7th if you include Wheelie, but he's also a local pillar of the community. He knows everyone and everyone knows Teddy. Seymour's Bay would not be the same without Teddy, and neither would the show. Teddy can be a lot of things, but at the end of the day, he is a big part of the show. I love Teddy. He's hilariously iconic and has given us some of the best quotes in the show.
Somebody threw a snow cone on my windshield today. I thought I hit a rainbow. It was terrifying.
Not only does he give us a lot of laughs, but he also gives us some very heartwarming moments in the series. Teddy is unpredictable. You never know if he's going to be the most annoying person in the world or the saving grace of an episode. But regardless, his inclusion in the show makes things more interesting. So love him or hate him, the show would not be the same without him. So here's to Teddy, the most reliable handyman in town. Thank you guys so much for watching. I had fun with this Teddy miniseries, and I think I covered everything I wanted to cover about him. And honestly, making these videos just made me love Teddy even more. Even recently, he just did an episode with Gail. They actually had an episode where they interacted, and he officiated for her weird art wedding thing, and I loved every second of it. So for those who wonder why Teddy and Gail never got together, you can definitely see in the new episode why their personalities don't exactly mix. Anyways, I cannot wait for what happens in the new season. I can't wait to see what else he gets up to. And I'm currently already loving the new stuff. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!